pretty well tonight. We're going to be going over some very interesting stuff. Hopefully you can see that on screen. I'm really proud of this thumbnail, so I'm going to leave this up here for a second. I worked hard on this, did a couple new techniques, and I'm really, really, really happy with myself. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Happy early holidays. So it's the 23rd today. By the time I stream again, it'll be in the middle of the whole Christmas, then New Year's thing, and then the next one will be after the New Year's. So, hey Teddy, hey Jim, how you guys doing? Oh, you will not be saying anything on the War of 1812 today. Damn, I might have to change up the stream. Well, Teddy, you could have given me a heads up. I have a stream about something involving teddies that I'm working on. So that ought to be interesting. And by the way, welcome being on time, Jim. But absolutely obsessed with the finals. That game is so good. My birthday was Wednesday, so I binged the finals and fried chicken all day. Oh, that doesn't sound like a bad way to spend a birthday now. At all. Especially being a winter baby, like... I can relate to that. I'm just after the new year, so yeah, I feel the feels of being a winter baby. And yeah, I've been kind of binging out on a couple games myself. I finally got myself Cyberpunk, and I got a couple other different games that I've been just checking out. Like Mad Max. I didn't even realize there was a Mad Max game, let alone that it was actually as good as it is. Driving mechanics kind of suck in both that and Cyberpunk, in my opinion, but it's not that bad. I didn't say it was necessarily related to you. It's related to Teddy's, and yeah, it's very interesting. I got a couple of different things. I learned about Claters and Clife and the Clamley today, and I'll probably explain that at some point because that person was really interesting. Let's just say Sweden's weird. Let's start and end there. See, I've never played Cyberpunk before, Jim. So I bought it stupidly on console, thinking that it was on the Game Pass, and like, oh yeah, it's obviously got to work on my computer too. Well, it only works on the console, and it doesn't transfer over to the computer, which is kind of weird. So then I kind of went ahead and bought myself a couple things on PC that I have for PC, but not on console. And I kind of like spent some time last week like really breaking things apart so that way my console games are only on console, my computer games are only on computer. So if I do get into playing something, I don't get into that weird habit of like, I do want to kind of stream stuff. I'm looking into setting up Twitch. I don't know how well it's going to go. But I'm going to probably put game stuff on Twitch and just see how that builds. And I didn't want to like start playing a game and then me forget what I'm doing and like be bored one day, play a game, and then like have my next stream be like, oh yeah, we're now at level 50. So because yeah, I wanted some continuity. But I've got a lot of weird different games going on. I'm looking at something going on now too, so it's a good time to look at. Yeah, I've got a couple of things on my well look, Teddy, it's art, okay? As you can see by my thumbnail I created, I've already displayed my capabilities as an artist. This took me between 30 and 45 minutes, I'll have you know. And I definitely did not watch any YouTube videos to see how to do things like any of this. So this is all original artwork, I'll have you know too. I didn't steal any of this. Anyway. Yeah, I've been looking at a couple games. I got a couple games on my Steam wish list that are on sale right now, and I keep going back and forth on. I've got a pretty decent library built up on my computer right now. I've got a couple different things I want to look into, like the Yakuza series I've never played. A couple different like weirder, outlandish kind of games, like the White Door. Let me look at my gaming folder just really quick. I've got Stanley Parable, Thief, SCP Laboratory. I'm looking at some Five Nights at Freddy's stuff and a couple other different things that are on sale right now. Call of Cthulhu, Boulder's Gate, The Outer Worlds, which I really enjoyed. I'm really looking forward to the Outer Worlds game, the next one. Michelangelo can't say shit. He's dead. He honestly, if he can do this, by the way, Teddy, with Photoshop or any other Adobe tools, I'd like to see him try because he's dead, and I guarantee his skeleton's been skeletized. I've got The Forest too. Hold on. I didn't want to blow anybody's eardrums out. But yeah, I got a couple different ones that play, and I figured out like what I needed to do for my screen sizing and everything else. SCP Secret Laboratory, I don't know if I mentioned that. What else? Car Mechanic Simulator. I got a bunch of stuff through Xbox. No Man's Sky, Liza P. Liza P I'm pretty freaking awful at. Yakuza, Soma, Hitman, Hellblade, which I was playing on my own a little bit to start out. Really enjoying that game. Bramble the Mountain King, As Dusk Falls, Everspace. Oh, I did. Well, yeah, he is true. He was actually my favorite Ninja Turtle. Sorry, weird tangent. Anyway, yeah, so I got a bunch of different things to try. I've also got things like Car Mechanic Simulator, which I'm sorry, but nerdy me loves that game. And yeah, I don't know. I haven't wanted to blow a big chunk of money on stuff, so I've been looking and trying to weigh in on what I should get on Epic Games if I got anything on Epic Games versus what I would get on Steam versus what I have available through Game Pass, and I think I kind of came up with a pretty good plan. So let's see if I can get this switched over really quick because we are going to need this up next. So tonight's stream, I don't know how long it's going to last. Really? Come on now. That's the chat. That's not the chat. Why are we like this right now? Is it because I didn't have the window all the way open? Yep. Now it's there. Okay. Well, that was fun. So anyway, we're talking about a very interesting individual today, NateDawG, which I don't know if... So I had my stream, what was it, like 2 weeks ago that I did the Lolcow stuff on, and we covered... Kiwi Tapes, we covered Smokey McSee and all their stuff, and, well, NateDawG here is kind of from that same sphere. He's a Lolcow hunter, is how he was getting his start out. He worked with a gentleman called Nick Nobody. There's going to be a reason why I'm only going to be showing one channel here, and we're going to kind of get into that if the screen capture, image, whatever verbs I'm trying to say and adjectives didn't kind of give it away. Nick Nobody was kind of like the Smokey to Kiwi, whatever way you want to put it together. Him and this NateDawG worked together as a team. And they were working on this podcast, and apparently there's only been a couple episodes of the podcast, and I believe that Nick has now taken them down due to everything that happened last weekend. Last weekend, I did my show, my lovely knitting drama that drove the commentary world ablaze, and absolutely nobody recognized it. Nobody talked about it. But you know what? I freaking loved doing it. So I still think that was one of the craziest freaking things to cover. And if there's more information comes about it on that, I'm so freaking covering it again. But anyway, got done with that, went to bed, woke up, I don't know, kind of late on Saturday. Like, normally I'm up at like 5 during the week. So, meaning by the time I get done here, sometimes I'm up for like roughly 20 hours. So went to bed, woke up and saw like some stuff on X, Twitter, or whatever from Smokey. And we can actually go and look at that because it's only a week ago. It shouldn't be that hard to find. Smokey. And I kind of want to pull up the tweet if it's still available. Blade. This is the 17th. Today's the 23rd. That'd be 6, so it's just before this. Sorry, math is not like... I do math a lot. Here we are. So this is the tweet I kind of wake up and see. And I was like, that Predator NateDawG. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Worst apology videos ever. I'm like, okay, what the hell is going on? Like, what did I just walk into? This seems pretty freaking crazy. And then I see Nick Nobody commenting on there and stuff like that, and I was like, okay, we're gonna need to check this out. So I go on, and one of the first things I see is Nick is doing this, as you can see, and I'm not going to go over the whole thing, 3-hour long, like, just ripping a dude apart live stream. And he is tearing into NateDawG, and I'm like, okay, I really cannot, like, watch this if I don't know what the hell's going on first. So, like a logical human being, I went looking for the NateDawG apology, found out the dude's whole channel is gone. His Twitter is gone. His Discord is gone. This guy has left the internet. And, you know, it's just one of those moments like where he wanted everything off the internet, and he did exactly that. He scrubbed everything. So after digging around, I found a couple like mirrors of the apology, and so I want to start there because I watched this apology and got really confused because he is awful at explaining things. But here, let's introduce you to NateDawG because this is as much introduction as I can give him. We don't have a channel to go over. We don't have like videos to look at. We can look at Nick's channel, and as you can see, Nick's not a small channel by any means. He's 34,000 subscribers. Apparently, NateDawG was smaller, bigger than I, which that pretty much anybody starting out is. He had, I think, 500 people, so it was a big comeuppance for him to work with someone like Nick and be doing this. It was a pretty big, you know, help a brother out type situation. But yeah, let's jump into this. Oh, hey, it would help if I had sound.
Because it's come to my attention.
Okay.
I am making this video because it's come to my attention that my content of character is completely bad. I want to set the record straight with everyone. I want to start where this all began, on a Discord VC call.
Nick Nobody's done a couple different documentaries. He covered and did a nice documentary on the White Bowser, which is kind of where him and NateDawG kind of like coalesced over, I guess. Is they both did different documentaries, both roughly the same length in time, around roughly the same period in time, and obviously they're covering, you know, how like Smokey and Kiwi found this guy. But as you can see, you know, Nick's got quite a few couple videos. I mean, he makes very, very good quality content. I really like Nick's got like that good voice for it. Just like Smokey, just like Kiwi, he had the voice for it. Not so much with this NateDawG guy, but NateDawG's I watched a couple of his videos. I will say what bothered me about NateDawG, and this is just me being a picky person, is he would like twist up linguistics a bit and like say things that out of order that didn't quite make sense or not use quite the right word to explain the situation. And I feel like when you're trying to articulate stories about crazy individuals, you have to be like pretty pretty depth with the English language as far as like not using words that just sound weird, I guess. I don't know. I'm very, very critical about that stuff. Like, I like to make sure that what I'm listening to, I like to listen to. Because a lot of times at work, I'm not watching the video. I'm listening. So I'm more attuned to what you're saying.
I'll be referring these people as Person A, Person B,
let me
and
restart
Person
this,
C.
because he starts out like pretty confusing right
I
away.
want to start where this all began, on a Discord VC call. I'll be referring these people as Person A, Person B, and Person C. I was in the VC call from around 8 US Central Time to at least 10 PM Central Time. It was towards the end of the call where I made a derogatory comment to Person B and it affected him mentally.
Okay, so a little clarification off the bat here, because he's using all these arbitrary like naming schemas, and so this takes place in Nick Nobody's Discord server. And what was going on is there was a game of Uno going on at some point, plus some other discussion. I don't remember how exactly in the timeline it falls, but we'll get to that. It's not very, very important. But Nick was in there, kind of said some off-the-cuff outlandish things to some mods of Nick Nobody's, and it just was not normal for him, I guess. And so people were kind of like, the hell's going on here? And anyway, it kind of escalates from there, but know that the people that are being described by letter are mods in Nick Nobody's server. Nick is not involved in these conversations. I'll let him show where he became involved in this stuff and what happened.
I was kicked out of the call and I came back to apologize. But by the time people were leaving the VC call because they felt uncomfortable, I couldn't blame them. And as much as I want to say sorry to person A, B, and C that I offended, there was just no words to share their forgiveness. Only person C was able to forgive me. This was all Nick Nobody's server, someone that I've been friends with for many months now. He told me.
Okay, and I know the messages are faded out a little bit there, but did you see how he's like, we have been at friends with? Like, just that kind of like verbalizing of things is just what annoyed me with NateDawG's wording. Just so it's, look, I don't care if like you don't always have like the best word to describe like the situation. Just proper use of the English language or an attempt to correct yourself and pay attention to what you're saying, it goes a long way with me. Where he would just put things out there like this. So we're not gonna concentrate on what's being written here. There's gonna be a ton of dead air in screenplays and stuff that we're not gonna get into. That makes up probably 2/3 of this video that Nate put out, and this response, apology, whatever the hell you want to call it, video is awful. Okay, he took a potato, put the potato underwater with a camera inside of the potato, and then Bluetooth this picture to himself from a Mac to a PC, and that's kind of how we got the image we got now.
Me that the podcast was over and I wanted to apologize to everyone. Nick told me that he would never force his friends to do an apology and that he wanted his community to be healthy and safe within his strides. I took the punishment and I agreed and I moved on. I fully apologized to persons A, B, and C. I'm not going to be showing anybody's names here because it seems like some people want to compare me to another certain predator that I have covered in this channel. It was then that person D showed up to my DMs. He'll be no longer promoting my videos or anything like that. I told him Tuffy already told me, and how Nick and Tuffy already told me all this stuff. I already told Subject D, that I wanted to make good amends with people, and I didn't care about the money, and I didn't care about the deals or anything like that. I even told Nick that I wanted to repay him from all of the money that I have made on the podcast.
Now, mind you, I want to touch on this. He says that like it's a lot of money. From what I understand, it's like $200.
That we had.
And I don't think there was any other percentage deals that Nick has mentioned. So I'm pretty sure it was just the money generated off of them doing a similar to Too High for Stupid podcast.
Together. But going back to main subject, just so we can't get off track, person C agrees to my apology.
See, he did it again there, going back to main subject. Going back to the main subject. It's just those little... They drove me nuts when I was listening to his videos, because it happens quite frequently, you'll see.
And suggested that I need to get therapy, which in my personal opinion, there is nothing mentally wrong with me in any sort of way. I might have a little bit of temper problems, but that doesn't really worry me. I have been talking to this person for about 2 months.
We're going to see the type of problems that Nate really got. And let me tell you, temper is kind of like the milder of the problems he got going on.
And they have been nothing but kind to me. And as for person A and person B, they haven't been responding to my apology. And if you're watching this right now, there is no words to describe of what you have been through your entire life.
He did it again there, of what you've been through. Like, I'm sorry, I'm going to keep pointing these out because they drive me nuts.
I am truly sorry for offending you in the most revolting way. I represented my community, and I represented it bad, and I am sorry for putting you all through this. Nothing would come of Friday, but as of recording right now of 12/16/2023,
They did it again.
Person C would come to me and ask me, what is your relationship with person E? Now, me with person E are only mutual friends. I met her whenever I was 18, and she was 16.
Okay, I think this is where we're going to kind of be jumping ahead a little bit. I'll leave it go. I'm going to try and jump a little. Yeah, because there's a lot of dead air. And his pictures are so awful that I cannot be attempting to even read them. But just know that all of this stuff is going to come up again when we go through Nick's video.
Her only because she...
Oh, and there's also another name.
I only...
I would disagree, honestly. I blink it. Everyone should have therapy because no one ever is 100% fine all the time. I agree wholeheartedly with that, Jim. I like that. So there's a lot of screenshots that are going to come up with all of this, and you're going to see them with Nick too. The ironic thing is that a lot of these shots came from Nate. So these were supplied to the people. You're also going to see, and this is what I was just about to say, that there is another name for NateDawG. He likes to call himself, and you'll see that brought up, and I will point it out when we get there.
Talked to her only because she kept on DMing me. I talked to her, but I never pursued anything with her in any form.
I think we get more dead air here.
Server now. And then Subject D comes into my DMs and told me, understand this, Nate, you fucked up majorly right now. How dare you go into this community, hurt my friends, and do creepy shit with minors in your server. Understand this, this is out of my hands, you're being thrown to the wolves, and I hope...
So there you go, we got our first little peek behind the curtain there with that sentence. You know, you're doing weird stuff with minors.
You enjoy every second of it. Then presents me a screenshot of Subject F. At first, I didn't even know who the fuck this
We're gonna get into some more of those receipts too.
person is, And then when I looked at the logs of the Discord server, and it's a person that I share with a Discord commentary server, I was showing an
He did it again there.
animation that they saw. I talked about how my work was, and since I was planning to make a King Cobra video for September, but I scrapped that idea, I asked them to make a King Cobra thumbnail. I asked if they want to make it detailed. They said that it would actually cost money, and I didn't have enough money at the time because I was working on a Cyrex video.
He expects that free child labor. Don't be coming at him expecting to pay for his child labor, damn it.
And then that's where our conversation ended. There was no grooming, I was not asking for her nudes, and I wanted just a thumbnail art piece.
So, the one defense that I will give him is, in all of this, I've not seen any proof of him asking for nudes. I took a long pause after that because I wanted to make sure that you understood that I wasn't conflating that with anything else. He only didn't ask for nudes.
Subject Deed explained to me, then why do you have roles for single, taking, and looking for someone? Now let me explain something right here. When I designed my server last year of 20...
He's going to explain this like this is a totally normal fucking thing. And you know what? I got a Discord server, and for the most part, it's me talking to myself. And by me talking to myself, I mean I literally throw up thumbnails and stuff that like I am proud of in my main channel area. And then like here, I am not afraid to show my Discord on anything. Like, welcome to my voluptuous Discord here. It's got so many things going on. As you can see, I talked to myself last week and now this past week when I made these thumbnails. I talked to myself about putting more effort in my thumbnails, and then another thumbnail, and then another thumbnail, and then chat. Like, literally, it's been a solid month or more since anybody's talked in my general area. I have an airport area that announces arrivals and departures, and as you can see, there has not been anything going on since November in this area. My stream announcement area, which doesn't even appear to be working since like... Oh no, I think it's announcing. It's just going, it's not bringing in pictures that I wanted. Okay. My drama feed, which is just an area for me to keep up with, you know, what's going on. I have a Lolcow area of my own because there's people like Tipster I like to keep tabs on. And since he blocked me before I even had a YouTube channel, this is the easiest way for me to keep track of him. Other than that, stream self-promotion, non-drama stuff, card stuff, and that's about it. I think I even got rules. Not that anybody's here to read them, but like, keep it respectful. Don't dish it if you can't take it. I am literally rule number 3. I'm not here. I'm not your Tinder. Yeah, I mean, I had a not safe for work section, but that kind of seemed dumb since I'm literally the only person in here. But I literally mentioned, like, I'm not going to be liable for someone's kid getting exposed to some weirdo. I actually went through, and as you can see, I've removed that section. Like, you can see full hidden channels and everything right now. It's not in there. Yeah, I mean, other than that, that's kind of basically it. But just to show you, like, it doesn't have to be a particular way, okay? Because he's going to go out of his way to justify stuff to you right now. And I want people to understand that, like, Discord don't gotta be that way.
2022, I was still in the furry fandom. Every furry server that I knew had the type of roles of taken, not taken, single, their sexuality, etc., etc. I wanted to paint my server just like that, so we can have a more presentation, so members can talk.
He did it again. Ugh. More presentation. More presentable. Anyway, what I was going to say is that I just want you to pay attention that now his avatar is going to kind of maybe make a little more sense. He's part of the furry crowd, which I really don't care. I mean, you do you, and I do me, and me doing me does not involve furry stuff. That's basically the extent of me on furries. But he's big into the furry lifestyle, and there are weird fetishes within the furry thing. This kind of goes down a pyrocynical type weird fetish path. And yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else that might be applicable here. I don't think that that was the only thing that he had for, like, you know, templates. He could have just looked up how to set up things. He could have not set things up. I mean, I've seen things that I thought were good ideas that I had in my server and I've taken out, and basically it's the way I want now because it gives me the content that I want when I want
and
it.
chat and everything. To say that I purposely have a verification check so I can go talk to a certain age group is so fucking disgusting. I never use...
That is a lie. And I'm going to show you how that's a lie because he implemented something. Okay, so Discord, obviously, outside of whatever its terms of service
use this as a weapon.
Does not have like a verification check in it, as far as I know. I'm not really like a Discord like savant. I'm more of a Discord idiot. I have a Discord basically because like I thought it was a useful tool. I think it still would be a useful tool if I ever build up an audience enough, but yeah. It is a tool to me. It is not a lifestyle like some people see it. But yeah, I don't know. I disagree with how he has his setup. He actually has questions and things like that that are like auto-populated when you join, which I've had different like servers that I've gone into that are like that, and they'll auto-assign you roles and things like that, and it's really cool, but like I don't have the crowd for that kind of crap. I'd honestly be terrible to me and have public Discord. There really is so much that can go wrong, Jim. You're not wrong there. Like, I am very leery about who I have in my Discord. Which is why I have like the airport and stuff, so like I can keep tabs. Like if it ever started getting out of control, I'd want to keep an eye on things. And honestly, I'd probably lock it down eventually. But realistically, right now, it's mostly creators. I'm not looking to like continue to grow it. I've got it like in my socials and stuff, but it's a tool for me. And the big thing is that, you know what? I'm not here to like, you're not coming to my Discord for anything other than content that's centered around me, honestly. I don't think that you should be there for anything else. Like, it's the fucking internet. There's other places to go do other things that you want.
Weapon to hurt other people. And if you look at my server right now, there is nothing about child porn,
we're gonna get into this.
Furry degeneracy. I don't even allow that in my art department. I even have it as safe for work only. To have people say that this was like Earl Doobie's server is just disgusting and it's horrible in my eyes. Because I had to calm myself down after people kept on pinging me saying that I should go off myself, calling me the pedo freak, a fur fag, and everything across the sun. There's also another subject that I would discuss with Subject G.
Right here. We're going to pause right here just because I want you to see, like, the questions. And this will come up later on, too. And this is, like, the least cringe, disgusting. Pick your terms. So, his Discord server, when you join, has a bunch of questions. The joiner answers these questions, and they're in the non-bold font. His questions are in the bolded font, and then other than that, you get like just a generic like ticket queue status type information. So UTC, Universal Time Coordinated, just goes off of a Greenwich Mean Time of 0, which, you know, depending on your time zones, you're either plus or minus off of GMT. So that's the more you know. And so these are the questions that are asked of every user joining. This individual's name has been blurred out, so I'm not worried about it. I believe their name also shows up here. And so he has a bot, which I've got a bot kind of similar, but not with like all this elaborate question crap. So you can see this was on 11/27/21. Okay, so this is an older one as well. So this person's probably pretty much 17, 18 now. Depending on how old at 15 they were then, who knows. I'm not going to get into that. But it just says NateDawG accepted this user. Okay, so we know who accepted the person into the server. We know when. And then, how did you find the server? Owner DM me. Well, being NateDawG server, you can kind of infer that it's NateDawG who invited them. What is your age? 15. What is your favorite video of NateDawG's? Haven't seen any. That's a common similar reply you'll see threaded. And then, what the dog doing? Which, oh my fucking god. Chilling and wrestling. So this person came in to like kind of be talking with them on the whole wrestling side of things, which I never really was big into wrestling after like age like, I don't know, 5, 7, something like that. My brother was, and I think he still is, but it wasn't my thing. And I don't knock people for liking it. I'm not here to knock on wrestling. What I'm here to do is knock on this motherfucker for letting fucking kids into the server.
On a commentary server of last year, people over the last few hours said that I groomed this person. The only thing that we ever talked about was ECW. I never asked his age was. I never asked for his sex and location.
You did ask for what his age was, so you just lied right there in your fucking apology.
Never asked for his nudes or anything explicit. In fact, I barely even talked to this person. And yet, people having the issue that I let this person into my server saying that I wanted to groom them. Which that is not the case at all. They said they wanted me to be friends in VR chat, and I declined because I don't feel comfortable playing video games with people that are not of my age. Oh, but you feel comfortable by bringing minors in your server. I bring people to my...
Oh, for context, by the way, not that I feel like it matters, and I'm going to point out why. NateDawG's like 20. I want to say comfortably 20. It's possibly late 19, early 21, but 20 kind of puts me in a comfortable spot.
Server because I want to share my content with them. Nothing more, and I just wanted to make people happy, and that's it. And now I just feel like getting rid of my Discord server in general because of all of this. It didn't help the fact that Subject D would just say that I am a horrible person, and just to tell the whole Lolcow TCG and the Kiwi Tapes and Smokey server.
Lolcow TCG is a Lolcow trading card game, which it's actually kind of cool if you haven't looked into it. There is a Lolcow trading card game. They even have a Lolcow Awards, a Puff Memorial card. Just a couple fun different like boxes. I know they've had some other different products too that they've offered, shirts, whatnot. If you're into the Lolcow sphere, maybe go check them out. Pricing and stuff is not bad either. I thought about looking into just a couple different things, but yeah, they have these different promos that they're going to be releasing, and they're kind of like a Pokemon Magic the Gathering-esque card. I believe there's like a legit whole game and everything. They have playmats as well. Yeah. So, back to our video.
That I actually go after kids. It's a bad look on me and on this community. It really hurt me to see Smokey McCrack say that I'm like fucking Earl 2.0. I never went after kids. I never had a criminal record of groping someone. I always got along with my peers and community very well.
He didn't grope anybody. He didn't ask for the sexual images, and he didn't grope anybody.
I don't want sympathy. I'm just setting the record straight for everybody in this community. I should have got rid of those roles that made me into a bad light, because it reminded me of a certain
That showed me in a bad light.
someone that I just mentioned a few seconds ago, and I am nothing like that in real life. I am nothing like that when I go to work. I am nothing like that when I go to the gym. I am nothing like that when I take care of my mother who has a broken ankle and no ovaries, where she also has bronchitis pneumonia. But like I said earlier, I am
We gotta listen to that again. Listen to all these things going on with Mama.
go to the gym. I am nothing like that when I take care of my mother who has a broken ankle and no ovaries, where she also has bronchitis pneumonia. But like
Bronchitis or pneumonia. I don't think you can have a double infection, I think, with both. But it's not one thing. Also, R.I.P. Mama Dog's ovaries.
I said earlier, I am not here to garner sympathy. I just want to get the record straight. I am sorry for the ones that I've hurt verbally. I'm sorry if I presented my Discord in such a horrible way that it made me look like a fucking freak, even though it made me look like an ass just to have it on there still. And that's my apology for not getting rid of it sooner. Not because I was caught not getting rid of it, because you wanted me to paint me as a horrible person for going after minors in my server. And with that being said, I'm sorry for inviting server members that were under the age of 17 or 18 years of age, even though I never wanted to go after them sexually in any form of matter whatsoever. What I am sorry for is for talking to Subject E. Even though I was 19 at the time, and never said anything explicit to this minor, even though we had a 2.5-year age gap, it was still wrong for me to talk to this person, and it's still wrong for me to talk to this person now. I don't care if they're my friend, I'd rather leave it as that. I don't know them personally, and I do not want to know them personally. Period. End of statement. It is my responsibility to not be talking to these people in any form whatsoever. Have I ever exploited them in any way? No, I have not. I never really talked to them in any way, only as a mutual short talk. I never went after Subject F in any form. I only wanted to commission them in artwork over a thumbnail that I was going to do on King Cobra.
And not pay them, because child labor can't be paying for that shit.
They gave me a heavy price, and I wasn't going to commission them, and that was it of our conversation. Nothing sexual exploitive, I didn't ask for their nudes, and that was it. For Subject G, all they ever showed me was stop-motion wrestling action figures from the ECW era, which I thought were so fucking cool. I never asked for his nudes. I wouldn't even talk for him for months on end, only short conversations, and that was it. I like how Subject D was saying that I wanted them to cuddle me, even though they put that as a
Oh, we're gonna get into that.
response. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't like physical human contact, and I am not into any degeneracy of pleasuring myself for having like someone answer me that. I didn't want to talk to them after they couldn't give me a good price, and that was it. Subject D said that I said that there's no discussion of age in the server. I felt very uncomfortable that people would just say that, oh, I'm 17. I didn't want any of that in my server. I feel very disgusted on what I said to Subject A, B, and C, saying that they were a pedo and just a horrible person in general. In reality, I put them down, and I am extremely sorry for.
I don't understand. I don't understand, like, why the whole no discussion of ages. Like, I don't know if that was some plausible deniability on his part or what. But, like, I would rather know people's ages, and then especially, like, if you're not wanting to talk about ages, why are you asking that as, like, literally, what was it, question number 2?
For that. As for everyone else, I'm sorry for making a piss stain out of your community, and I'm trying very professionally to say that I am sorry for all of this. At this point on how it's looking, I don't know if I feel comfortable anymore making videos. I'm gonna have this video up for your pinned at my home channel, and I'll be taking a break from the internet. A very, very long break from the internet, as in I won't talk to anybody. I'll completely get rid of my Discord server, because I don't think I can mentally take it anymore with these life-ruining accusations. I have nothing else to say but setting the record straight. And with that being said, hope you have a day, and goodbye.
Okay, so that was NateDawG's apology video that like I woke up to, right? So then I'm like wondering what the hell is going on. So we're gonna get into this. This I'm gonna save for last. We're gonna first touch on a recent video. So this is only a couple days ago. Nick Nobody put out like an official video, which he mentions in this stream that he was going to do. And I didn't want to do my stream until I was sure that he actually was going to have this video out there, because I wanted to kind of get his consolidated, non like aggro type perspective on everything. And because basically NateDawG here has kind of become basically a Lolcow in a way. He's kind of taken the White Bowser, seen that as a challenge, and said, "How can I do this but quicker?" And here's where my problems with NateDawG are going to arise. Okay, so you're over the age of 18 doing all this stuff. That's cool. Whatever. I really don't give a shit about that. What I do give a shit about is that you are covering people that you see do degenerate and stupid and awful things all the time. And particularly, you've covered in depth the White Bowser and what they've done with their server and miners and everything else. And you still saw it as a good idea to interact with miners how you did. And I do not freaking think for a moment that is excusable, regardless of your age. Like, it is inexcusable to sit there and know as much as you know about the internet, about individuals on the internet, and to still go through and do all this shit. He looked into the Lolcow abyss, but unlike the rest of us, he blinked. I like that. That he did. Yeah, he or he never blinked. I don't know. The way that Nick Nobody and a couple other people are putting it is basically he played with the poo. He saw the poo, he poked the poo, he smelt the poo, he looked at the poo, and then, unlike everybody else, he played with it. This guy is just, the stuff we're going to get into is kind of inexcusable. Nick's video is not very long, which, thank you, Nick. I appreciate the hell out of that, because he covers so much good, solid content with way better screenshots in a shorter period of time. He went full on. He went full on money and started monkey. Oh, went full on monkey and started flinging it around. yeah, he did. Okay, so I want to make sure. Oh, God, I forgot I muted like every single one of these so that if they did accidentally start playing, it wouldn't like ruin the stream. But now I'm an idiot and I keep forgetting to unmute.
NateDawG is a 20-year-old furry YouTube commentator that covers lolcows and TikTok degenerates. At least he was, until he decided to nuke his entire channel after it was discovered that he was running a furry Discord server with minors in it. Not only was there minors in his server, but it was also found out that he was personally DMing them and inviting them to his server. How did you find this server? Owner DM'd me.
You're totally fine, Jim. But yeah, I get it. I screw up typing way worse on my phone than ever on a keyboard or anything like that.
What is your age? 15. There's even evidence of Nate role-playing with one of these minors. Cause, you stink. You stink, fresh air. So because I'm clean, that's dirty to you? And to make me clean, you rub mud on my face? Yeah, just like that. I was clean and you were dirty, so that's why I did that. Sprays bottle. That's a bad bunny. This is a 20-year-old man role-playing with a high school girl. All of these things would come to light because of...
This is one of my favorite pictures to come out of this, by the way. It literally, this is how quickly things escalated over a game of Uno.
An incident over an Uno game inside my very own Discord server. That's right, they say Monopoly ruins friendships. Well, it turns out that Uno uncovers files. The Nick Nobody admin team went into the trenches to uncover some very disturbing things. So
this is his SEAL Team 6 here of people that I believe several of them were involved with the discussion and Uno game, and I know specifically two people named here like actually went in and really hardcore started looking and taking screenshots of his server, which is how we got as much information as we did about this person, how degenerate they are. So shout out to all these people.
This is the story of NateDawG. The golden rule when you make videos on lolcows and internet degenerates is don't touch the poop. This story is
Teddy, you have the best lines. Can I just say that? I come back and the first thing I hear is Uno uncovers pedophiles. And honestly, I see it. Yeah. You wait till you see what Monopoly uncovers.
a prime example of what happens when you unknowingly touch the poop for multiple months. I met NateDawG a few months ago when he joined my Discord server. Having seen some of his videos on Cyrax and a couple other people, I thought it would be cool to befriend another creator in the same space as me. After a couple months of being friends with the guy, we decided to start a weekly podcast called The Roundup, where each week we would discuss updates on lolcows and people alike. And it would be around this time where Nate starts to get a little too comfortable with the people around him, and the kind of person Nate is really starts to leak out. 4 episodes of The Roundup would go off without a hitch and even had features from other notable members in this community like Biff the Werewolf and Cow Wrangler. It was on the 5th week where Nate for some reason would decide to go mask off and fully drop the nice guy character he was putting on. This is the week his infamous Uno game freakout would happen and cause my admin team to fully start looking into all of his shit. On December 11th, Nate would join a voice chat between some of the members in my server and my staff.
The irony of it, okay, hold on. I've got to do a thing. And I want to pull it off screen and I'm going to bring it back on screen. This is just me being a nerd. So if you don't remember, let's see, so it'd have been oh, I'm off by a couple of days. I'm off by almost half a week. Oh god, never mind. I'm not going to embarrass myself. I'm not bringing it back on screen. I apologize. I'm confused. Did touching the poop turn him into a predator in that much time? Or was he already a predator and being in his community opened them up to criticism? I think it's the latter. I honestly think it's the latter. Imagine having such a spurg out over Uno that it leads to you being revealed as a yep. Yeah. This gets it's pretty intense pretty quick. I don't remember how much is shown in this video of certain things, and I'm just going to skim it for content. Okay, yeah, it is shown in this video.
Staff. The members were having a nice conversation about mental health and how they deal with depression. Nate thought it was appropriate to tell everyone in the call to quit their yapping and that their stories were trifling to listen to. He then launched into a story about how he got into a fight and purposely punched a woman in the face. When the members inside the voice channel started telling Nate what he was...
If that doesn't scream badassery to you, let me tell you, you know, I tremble with fear whenever I'm out amongst the aristocrats of the internet, and I'm confronted by an aggressive, furry, wrestling fan PDF file who talks to me about how my mental health is trifling. And let me tell you though about how I punched a woman in the face once. Yeah.
Was saying wasn't funny and inappropriate, he decided to argue with everyone. He even went as far as calling my head admin a groomer because they said they cared about my community. Really
Yes. Jim, yes. So that sounds like the King Cobra JFS story. Some guy called me a loser. I told him I was autistic and used my dark wizard powers and he got the flu. Yes, quit your yapping. I feel like quit your yapping has got to be used with more affinity within the furry community. I feel like that's a turn of phrase that they could just sink into. They could sink their claws into it, sink their teeth into it, just own it. Yeah.
Disgusting and disturbing things to be saying to people that he barely knows. And on top of that, these are the people that show up and watch a show that he's a part of every week. This incident sure reminds me of a certain person I just got done making an hour-long documentary on. That's right, NateDawG and White Bowser are so comically alike it's not even funny. After Nate's initial freakout, he would be kicked from the server and offer a very half-assed apology.
This is his actual apology to the people in that server, by the way. I just want to say, I'm sorry if it felt like your opinion didn't matter to me. I made a joke that I were yapping. The more I thought about it, the more I felt bad. I think it's I just felt bad. English has got to be a second language here.
To the three.
I don't know if I can say anything wholesome from the heart that would matter to you. Yeah, well, you know what? I'll just let you guys read that. I'm just gonna leave it on the screen. I'm gonna count to like something in my head, and then when I think that me as the slowest learning disabled person probably in here trying to read this has made it to the end, I'll hit play on the video again. And don't worry if it doesn't make sense to you. It doesn't make sense to me either, by the way. Okay, now that we've basked ourselves in the linguistical artistry that NateDawG has put out in the world as an actual apology.
Members he was attacking. I want to say I'm sorry if it felt like your opinion didn't matter to me. I made a joke that you were yapping. The more I thought about it, I just felt bad for not to think that I was saying. I feel better now, don't worry, but if I can say anything wholesome from the heart, it is that you matter and the world needs you. In less than 4...
I forgot that he read it. And he just read it so much better than I could have ever put that together in my brain. You know the freaking like guy from it didn't make sense to you. I thought I was hardcore. Here's the thing, like I love how masterfully Nick just read that like effortlessly, okay? Like I'm just
48 hours felt bad apology to the documentary on. That's right, NateDawG and White Bowser are so comically alike it's not even funny. After Nate's initial freakout, he would be kicked from the server and offer a very half-assed apology to the 3 members he was attacking. I want to say I'm sorry if it felt like your opinion didn't matter to me. I made a joke that you were yapping. The more I thought about it, I just felt bad for not to think that I was saying. I feel better now, don't worry, but if I can say anything wholesome from the heart, it is that you matter and the world needs you. In less than 48 hours after the first...
He reads that so well for being written so horribly. Coming in my neighborhood and stealing my women.
First freakout on the night of the 13th, Nate would join my server again and go back into a voice chat with the same exact group of people. This time my staff and other members were playing Discord Uno, and this is where Nate's story explodes. Being
so legit was related to an Uno.
Unable to cope with losing a few rounds of Uno, Nate seemingly blows a gasket. He starts spouting off and screaming at everybody in the call. And then he would go on to dox one of the members
I can tell Nick deals with Lolcows because his Lolcow pretty really hard language to learn. Yep. And you're 100% right. Like his predisposition to be able to look at that and know exactly what was intended for better than 90% of it. Yeah, he's a whisperer for sure. He's a yappa.
personal information that was told to him in private. Over the course of 30 minutes, he would be muted and kicked from the voice channel over 20 times. And he would join the voice channel one last time to announce to everyone that he has nothing to apologize for, and then he was swiftly kicked from my server. It was at this point all of Nate's antics would be brought to my attention from everyone that was involved. And
I just want to go out and say, like, he has got to have, like, one of the best Discord mod teams ever for them to, like, be as patient as they were. 20 times this person was kicked before they were, like, actually banned from the server. Because they respected him enough to not just, like, ban him off of one, like, screw-up. Understanding that Nick's trying to build a business doing his podcast together with this guy.
And upon learning all the horrible things Nate was doing and saying inside my server to my community members, I swiftly ended my working relationship with him. I went ahead and reached out to him.
And by the way, this is, first of all, the non-potatofied, waterfied Mac to Windows PC version of the messages that NateDawG showed. And I believe Nick reads kind of some of this, but if not, I'm going to leave it paused here. You can always come back and take a look at this. He handles this with so much, like, courtesy and respect and decency. And he looks flawless from how he went about doing this.
To let him know what he had been doing was disgusting and totally unacceptable, and that the podcast was over. These things did not sit right with me or the Nick Nobody admin team, and we decided to start taking a closer look into Nate. And this is when we discover what's inside Nate's Discord server.
So this server is now gone. But as I'll just pause so you can read some of the joyful chicanery that is in store for you.
You see, Nate had a verification bot for his server that made you
Flooftown.
answer a few questions before you were allowed in. A couple of these questions were, how did you hear about the server? And how old are you? This is where the story gets really dark, because we were able to get our hands on some of the most recent applications for the server. And it turns out there are tons of minors that are applying and being accepted into Nate's server. And to make matters even worse, most of the ones we were able to see were personally invited by Nate himself. How did you find this server? Echoes. What is your age? 14. Status: NateDawG accepted this user. How did you find this server? Owner DM'd me. What is your age? 15. Status: NateDawG accepted this user. How did you find this server? NateDawG himself. What is your age? 15. And here's a really bad one. How did you find this server? The owner. What is your age? 16, but I turned 7.
And now, mind you, some of these are like a year old or 2 years old, but still, like, he's not kicked these people as far as we know.
17 in a few weeks. What the dog doing? Cuddling with me. Yeah, I could only imagine why this 16-year-old would put that she's cuddling with Nate on her application. If that's not incredibly suspicious, I don't know what is. Another incredibly suspicious thing is a message NateDawG would post himself. No.
And this was the beginning of this year. So I just want to point that date out. So January 16th, 2023.
Discussing.
Roughly, so basically call it January 17th.
Of ages in the server, please. This is really disgusting when you find out Nate had dating roles his members could assign, being single, taken, and searching for someone. So Nate created this dangerous environment where minors and adults can freely interact with each other and see if they're looking to date each other. But
okay, and so I want to stop right there before we get into the next part and say that there's some shit that's coming up that's just gross. So, I mean, obviously it's gross enough that, like, he's allowed minors into this server, full well knowing better. Like, again, I just want to stress, this guy of people who should know better. So, the white Bowser, why he gets picked on so bad is he was actually in Smokey's community and really liked how Smokey and Kiwi and all of them covered different Lolcows, especially, I think there was some stuff with, like, Cyrix and stuff like that. And so, you know, he kind of understood the Lolcow side. And so when it came out that he's not a great individual, I feel like, you know, he got hit harder because he should have known better. And I don't feel like they're wrong to do that. This person having come from not only, like, been in the community, but creating videos so you research, so you're knowing, like, I know when I do research, and I know a lot of my research is basically my streams, like I show it to you, like here's what I found. But when you're researching this different stuff, you learn more things that you don't always necessarily cover in your streams. Like, there's things like I jump around, like I showed you only portions of the video. I already knew like that there was a lot of dead air in that. I know Nick's video is good. I know we're going to cover, some of Biff's stuff, and Biff was involved in all of this. I show you kind of, the breakdown in Nick's videos and everything else. So like, I just, I know that there's a lot of stuff that goes into, even with my minimal, and I don't want to act like I do a lot of research. A lot of my research is finding the times, the topics, trying to put things together, and put it in a coordinated way so that it's easy to digest in the time that I go over it in my stream. Because kind of normally once it's done here, it's done. Unless it's something that's going to be evolving, I'm probably not going to come back to it. I'm not out, contacting people left and right for things. I'm not really prepared enough to be having people on to interview at this point yet, but he was. And so he's been doing this couple of years. Like, his familiarity with all this should have been like above and beyond.
But they're not supposed to talk about each other's age. How Nate can't see this as a giant red flag.
True, Teddy. Teddy's got the exact right opinion there. Allowing minors is fine, but just don't allow minors.
Flag and a huge problem, I don't know. One of the first things we saw in his general chat is this conversation. Fuck off. Never. Suck dick. Bet. I'll suck yours first. I'm 14. LMAO. Always works. But he was 18 in dog years. How Nate was able to make an hour-long...
That is just the start of where we're going to get into some of the gross stuff. Now, I don't believe this gets prefaced in Nick's video for a good reason, because the video, and he's a larger content creator, and kind of pointing this out might draw the wrong ires, or not ires, I guess, the wrong looks from YouTube, especially, being a bigger creator that he is. But you're going to see another username pop up here called Anal Wolf. I'll let you guess out of the two individuals on screen which one is Anal Wolf. Lock in your votes. It's not the guy in the mirror. See him? Okay.
Long documentary on the White Bowser, all while having a Discord full of minors in it himself, is absolutely insane to me. And he was actively messaging these minors and inviting them to his server himself. There's another thing we found inside Nate's Discord server, and that's the infamous Beans channel. In this channel, you can find furry foot fetish art that was open and on display for minors to look at. While there isn't any drawn genitalia on these animals, it is clearly foot fetish art, something you shouldn't be sharing to minors. Another thing we caught Nate doing is roleplaying with a 17-year-old. And how did we get our hands on these chat logs?
Look at the date on this stuff, though. Look at when this is. This is the bunny stuff.
Between Nate and this minor. Nate himself sent these to us to prove that there was nothing inappropriate.
Hello. Hiya. Hi. That's a hell of a name. Teddy, I think you need to change your name on Twitter. Just saying. It screams ladies man.
Going on. So let's read a few of them. Yeah, how are you? I'm fine, I guess. What about you? I am good. Great to know. Yeah. Hugs. Yeah. I want bunny drawing. I want Nate. Why do you want me? And we can see that it was edited, so Lord knows what that original sentence was. 'Cause, you stink. You stink, fresh air. So this is like going on for almost a year that they've been like role playing back and forth, because if you look at the previous messages and these, you're talking about January to now November. I'm clean, that's dirty to you? And to make me clean, you rub mud on my face? Yeah, just like that. I was clean and you were dirty, so that's why I did that. Sprays bottle. That's a bad bunny. Why? I'm a very good bunny. Proof?
I like the Slender Friend, though. I feel like that's a really good name. Teddy can totally play up the anal wolf, though. But I appreciate it, Jim.
Yeah, guys, nothing going on here. Nothing at all. After all this information was leaked to the public on December 15th, it was pretty much the end for Nate. Smokey MCC learned about the situation and tweeted this: "Jesus Christ, NateDawG. F***ing Earl 2.0. Nate would private all of his videos and private his Discord server following these revelations and go radio silent for the day. On the morning of December 16th, Nate would post an apology video to prove his innocence."
And so, like, this is me, like, kind of learning about all this stuff. So, let's see, the 16th. Yeah, so literally Friday into Saturday is when this all happened.
Making this video because it's come to my attention that my content of character is completely bad. I want to set the record straight with everyone.
Your English.
I want to start where this all began, on a Discord VC call.
In this apology video, Nate would go on to describe what happened in his own words. And then he would release tons of DMs he was having back and forth with a minor that he was caught role-playing with.
Appropriate music.
Nate would say this is just role-playing story stuff with a minor that he's been talking to for the last year and a half. Keep in mind, Nate is almost 21 years old and the minor mentioned just turned 17.
Okay, so that gives you a little bit better understanding of the age discrepancy. Let alone, like, people talk about power imbalances here. Like, legit, like, this is one of the few times I can kind of point out and be like, yeah, this is obviously clearly a power imbalance type thing. Obviously, you know, there's the power imbalance between Nate and Nick is trying to help a smaller creator become a bigger creator by doing all this good stuff with him. But then you got the power imbalance between the creator, who is Nate, and creating this Discord, putting out this content and drawing people in, and him being like, oh, I'm a YouTube creator. And you could see that there's a little bit of narcissism and stuff, and even with the questions that he asked of which videos of mine do you like? Like, I think it's fucking weird, but...
I talked to her only because she kept on DMing me. I talked to her, but
And I didn't point this out initially. That's some fucking victim-blaming bullshit right there. Fucking, she kept talking to me. So fucking ignore her. Kick her out. Like, there's so many fucking options. Like, okay, I was in a chat recently, one of a different creators, like, space that they create, and they do like this kind of big, like, mudslinging kind of area. And I've heard on there a couple times that there is no bullying on the internet, and I disagree, because the perspective that they're coming from is that there is no bullying as an adult on the internet. Okay, you can shut off the internet, you can leave. And I think more so with kids, yes, there is absolutely bullying as long as you're in a school environment, whether that's a college, a high school, elementary school, whatever, because there's some inescapability to it. You have people there that are going to try and reach out just to do things inappropriately to you. So they view the internet as an escapism, more so probably than adults. We have it as a luxury. We escape. We do our games. We do our, viewing this kind of content. Some of you come here and listen to me, which I apologize for that escape. But as an adult, yes, it's a lot easier to sit there and say you can escape this stuff. As a kid, I feel like it's a lot harder to feel like you can escape this stuff, and that doesn't get mentioned enough.
I never pursued anything with her in any form. Sure, there was like roleplay stories here and there, shown in these DMs.
Another thing he would do in the apology video is complain about all the mean things people were saying about him post-Discord leaks. And then he would go on to talk about how he is a good person because he is taking care of his disabled...
I'm sorry, this mother thing comes up and it's just so funny. It's so fucking funny.
In the apology video is complain about all the mean things people were saying about him post-Discord leaks. And then he would go on to talk about how he is a good person because he is taking care of his disabled mother.
And I am nothing like that in real life. I am nothing like that when I go to work. I am nothing like that when I go to the gym. I am nothing like that when I take care of my mother who has a broken ankle and no ovaries, where she also has bronchitis pneumonia. But like I said earlier,
that sounds a lot like the White Bowser, doesn't it? And this
I'm sorry, but like when you post like things wrong with your mother, like, and of the things wrong, like two of them are healable. Like she's gonna get over the broken ankle and probably the bronchitis or pneumonia, whichever she, maybe both. She'll probably get over both of them, but RIP them ovaries. I agree, especially when things escalate like swatting. Yep. I think most cyberbullying, though, you have a decent degree of power to deal with it, and whether it's reporting, blocking, and the like. I agree with that. You do. See, I that's where I don't agree with the victim blaming that he's doing here, because he knows better. Like, let's not let that escape us. This dude fucking knew better before he ever initiated a single chat with this person. He knows better as not only an adult, but an adult that covers people being a danger to minors, people that are Lolcows, people that have committed just various atrocious different things. I mean, he's covered Jupiter, he covered Cyrax, he covered freaking White Bowser. So like there's three individuals right there that like they have like known things that they've done. And so and if you're wondering, the whole thing with Cyrax, Blind Billy story, definitely recommend looking into that if you want to talk about some degenerate stuff. And like cry bullying, but companies these days will look your name up on the internet. False accusations can seriously affect your ability to find a good job. I agree with that guy. I very much agree with that, and that's why I feel like it's my biggest pet peeve with all of this is that he knew better. This person knew better. I have no shame in pointing and laughing at somebody that you could sit there and say that, you know, people like Cyrax and people like Jupiter and all of them, they're mentally disabled and may not have their full faculties available to where they know what they're doing is actually wrong. Or they may have the mental aptitude of somebody of the age that they're talking to, in which case it kind of becomes a little more gray and harder to sit there and like be like, oh no, they're awful. Even though, yes, it's awful. Like no like mincing of words here. Like, you should not be that old. Like, they deserve to have somebody in their life telling them why this is a bad idea. But I feel like there's a lot more grace that can be given to somebody that is maybe not having the mental wherewithal to know that what they're doing is a bad idea. Specifically, I think of like Jupiter. I wonder there. I also wonder with Chris Chan, like, they just don't have the proper mental faculties to understand that what they're doing is wrong and here's why it's wrong. Like, I don't think they could stand in a court and defend themselves if they had to in any way, shape, or form. But that being said, again, like I said, you know, they should have people in their life that are guiding them in the right direction to understand why those things are wrong. With Nate knew better. Nate is an older individual. He covered these people in depth. He literally had every person in his corner that was the best person in that instance to tell you, hey, this is why this is a bad idea. He had so many resources that he could have asked like opinions on and everything else, and his solution was to just shit all over all of that.
This clearly didn't go in his favor, because just 25 minutes after he posted this video, he would delete his entire channel. Smokey was able to give Nate some sage Hawaiian advice before he nuked his whole channel though. Nate, I don't get it. You knew the Bowser story well enough to make an hour-long documentary. I just watched this video again and you literally sound like Earl. I get that in your mind, everyone else is crazy, but I guarantee you I'm not the only one who makes that correlation. If you want to try and explain yourself, don't do it in a video like this. Let people ask you questions. I'm sure plenty of shows would have you on to explain yourself.
And to Smokey's benefit, I think he actually probably, being that it was someone coming to them in good faith, I think it was probably, they weren't trying to be disingenuous towards this guy when they're saying, no, come talk to us. We would have talked to you. We would have had you on. We could have had you explain this stuff. I don't think they're doing it disingenuously. I mean, they're going to pick on you. And if you're not thick-skinned enough in order to be able to take being picked on when you're the one that can sit there and do the picking, that's a bigger you problem. But I think they would have at least given him a fair shake as far as hearing his part and understanding why and maybe explaining things to him. But just as things came out, it became worse and worse and worse and worse. And like the Beans chat, okay? Again, I had a special area that I had in my Discord for a short period of time that was not safe for work. It was a lockdown channel. You had to have a role that I granted you in order to even see that channel. And I only granted that to people that I knew were over the age of 18. And you know what? It just became a liability for me, and I could see that it was going to be a liability. So what I do, I got rid of the fucking channel. And you know what? I really don't think anything got even posted in there. I don't even think I think maybe a description of the channel got posted in there. And the whole thing with that was that some of the content that I've been looking into, which is something for a later stream. Hey, we're going to touch on that now. I've got some things that I'm looking at for later streams that are not going to be safe for work as far as like the content that I'm going to cover. I'm looking into a story right now that really kind of interests me. It's been a back and forth going on for a little bit, about a year now, with a couple people, but the subject matters that they touch on are really, really, really hard, and I'm going to have a lot of content warnings when we do get to that stream that are going to come out beforehand. So if that's stuff that bothers you, I would suggest not checking that stream out, not tuning into that one. But it's really interesting. But yeah, the plug for a later show. I don't know when though.
If you just make this statement and run, it's only going to make you look more guilty. So, as of right now, NateDawG has disappeared. He's deleted his YouTube, his Twitter, and his Discord is currently private. Nothing says not guilty like deleting all of your stuff and then hiding. This is not where the story ends, however. On the same day Nate would post his apology video and delete his channel, I would do a live stream covering the entire thing that went down.
Okay, so this is the original stream. Me and 200 people watch this, apparently. I'm just saying that because there's 201. But that this is a re-upload of that stream. Kind of working on having this be a thing, but I'll make a playlist. I'll have all this available if anybody wants to go and check it out. Because it did take a little bit to find some of these things. There is some other things that I'm not going to cover. Like there was a recent episode with Nick Nobody was on with Smokey and Kiwi when they did episode 47 of the Too High for Stupid podcast. Let's see here. We got that is a ridiculous argument. You have to throw at you by your community that had no problem with swatting people and harassing them to suicide. You delete it as well. I get what you're meaning, but I feel like you play devil's advocate a lot, and I don't mind having a contrarian in the chat at all. I like that you're going to bring in a perspective that maybe not everybody is going to think of. So to answer you, I don't think it's a ridiculous argument. I can see your point of view that you're coming from, where you're thinking that these are going to be people that will throw allegations at them and everything else. But realize this is another one of those situations where NateDawG came out, said a bunch of stuff, was given a bunch of there was lines made in the sand, and he kept stepping over that line in the sand. So he came in, said a bunch of audacious things, was kicked out, and this occurred 20 plus times before he came in and basically said that I'm not sorry for anything I just said. And that is all what triggered them to be like, okay, this guy's acting fucking weird. We should look into him. I guarantee you if he stopped at any point in time, some of this stuff probably would have still come out. He still might have left the internet. I mean, he still might have gone down the course of action that he went down. But if he had stopped at any point in time to think for what was going on and maybe took heed, talked to let cooler minds prevail is kind of the saying that I think of, and came back, he probably would still be working with Nick right now. Probably. I mean, if this stuff came out, probably not. That's where I agree with you, and I see with where you're coming from. But I don't think it's an unfair argument. I think that him doing what he did just made it worse. Yeah, and I get where you're coming from, Gay. With my comment was only about using that as evidence, deleting his content. Yeah, and the thing that sucks is that, like, he didn't have the courtesy of even, like, okay, his apology and his explanation was not that great. And he came out with all this stuff that he threw out there into the world. Like, he just flung it out there. He didn't have to. He kept trying to do this, like, coded person A, B, C, D, E. Okay, whatever. He could have stuck with that. Left all of the content and that he brought to the table out of this. And maybe explained and articulated himself a little bit better. And I bet you this would have probably been a null issue. It just became really suspicious with all the stuff that he brought out. When you stop and start looking at things, then you have a comedy of errors is the term that comes to mind. Basically, it's funny how all these errors built up in a way that basically just proved him in the light of what he is. So you have him coming into the Discord doing all what he did. That led to him eventually getting banned. That ban had people's eyebrows raised, and they went in and they started looking at his stuff. And then he has his non-apologies that he did. So all of that leads to him making a video overnight, from what I understand, coming back, posting that video, and leaving it up for a half an hour, and then nuking everything because he's afraid of what's now going to be found. And it's all stuff based on things that he put out into the world. Like, literally, it is a comedy of errors. Oh no, did I start this? Oh no, this is the wrong stream. Good lord.
And less than 12 hours after this stream ended, it would be mass flagged for harassment and cyberbullying and would be taken down by YouTube. And I can only wonder who's behind that. The last insane thing that happened in this story is a troll named Spooky managed to get Cyrax to talk about NateDawG.
This is kind of funny. It's the typical YouTuber mistake. You do something wrong, your response in such a way that it raises some more alarm bells and people dig deeper. Exactly. It's kind of like what happened with the completionist stuff, which I do have an intention of covering that eventually, because I actually have a unique perspective that I can offer on that with, I work in an accounting background. My wife actually works in for a company that is a charity, and this charity provides multitude of services along with being accounting for different other charities. So she's very, 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 very well acquainted with how to look into charities and their accounting and things like that. So we've got some pretty interesting stuff that I'll be able to bring to the table with that. But yeah, if you look at Gerard and what happened with Muda, and they gave him a chance, and he basically had a weird apology, and his weird apology kind of caused things to be dug into deeper, and from that you've now got it looking like even worse. I've been so heavily into that drama. I'll love to hear your take on it. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, we got a pretty interesting thing, and I found some, thanks to my wife, I found some lovely things that I'm putting together as far as like the nicest ways to digest information, and I'm going to try and break down some of the accounting side of it a little bit more, so that way it's not got the big and scary to it, because accounting is really not big and scary.
Well, first off, dude, obviously I do have friends that are, in the first community that are genuinely good people. So Nate, by you doing that, bro, you're making them look bad, bro. Like, you're giving that community a bad fucking name, first off.
So even Cyrex disavows of Nate at this point. The guy who essayed Blind Billy even disavows of you. That's never a good thing. By the way, a thing that I've heard about, I've not looked into, I've heard he's been VTubing. Like, actually has a rig and everything.
That's not good. Second off, how are you gonna go after White Bowser when you yourself are a literal known pedo, bro? Like, what the fuck is up with that?
I just find that so funny.
Like, that's just... Nah, that's... You can't be doing that, bro.
All they need is for King Cobra to be like, fuck you, NateDawG, fuck all sickos.
He got caught over a game of Uno because he got salty because he was losing Uno.
Really? Wait, how the hell do you get caught during a game of Uno, bro? What the fuck? And the NateDawG, listen, bro, if you want to talk shit about me, go ahead. I don't fucking care. Because I don't know who you are. You're not even a blip on my fucking radar, dude. Like, I am literally, and even...
I like how his green hat is what makes you angry, Teddy. There's so much more about this guy that should make you angry other than that hat.
Spooky here can attest to this. Unlike you, dog, I am literally a worldwide name, man. Like, I am known all over the fucking world. And my name has been fucking clear.
When you look up narcissist, there's, depending, if you got the pocket dictionary, you get a picture of Cyrex.
By the way. Thank you to Tibbs. What up, Tibbs? But, yeah, Nate, like, you're fucking with the wrong people on this one, dude. You don't think that I don't have the manpower to call your ass out? Oh, trust me, I've got the manpower to do so, boy. And I will do so. If you do not stop your fucking shit, I will personally call you the fuck out and put your shit to shame, dude, because what you're doing ain't cool.
I love how fashion is your line, Teddy.
And I'll be honest, man, if I had it my way, and I think we all can agree with this, anybody that is like you, Nate, deserves to have your fucking ass beat. Like, straight up. Like, you deserve to have your ass handed to you on a silver platter. And I think you and Spooky can agree with that one. They're weird motherfuckers that need to be put down like the little bitch dogs that they are. Hey, Nate, all I gotta say to you, man, is don't drop the salt in jail, big homie. Because trust me when I say, they do not take kindly to pedos in prison, dude. They will fuck your ass up. Good luck surviving, bitch. Your career, what career? Your career's done. When you did what you did, that's the moment that you killed your fucking career, dude.
I wanted everyone to know.
Right, you ain't the little pedo puppy?
The pedo puppy? Is that what you called him?
I could have never imagined we would get Cyrax calling Nate out, but we did. And that's where...
So... yeah. Teddy. Cyrex did actually assault someone. Unfortunately, fortunately for that person, they're blind, but unfortunately they're not deaf, and they can hear what everybody's told him about how this person looks. Cyrex just keeps going. This is where I can appreciate Cobra just going, fuck sickos, dude, and then crying over Puff. Right? Yeah, Cyrex just thinks he's got main character syndrome hardcore.
Where the story of NateDawG ends. For now. Thank you for watching my video. I'm Nick Nobody, and until next week, I'm out.
So, we're going to cover one other video here. So, if you want, like I said, we've got Nick's big stream, like, to give you an idea, I want to kind of, like, Nick was going off. Hey, look, me not muting.
Because if Nate's going to put it in his video that he now deleted, I might as well show you what went down. Ding, 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 ding. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. The whole person, Teddy, is a garbage individual. They've tried throwing him in the trash, and apparently he just oozes back out and upstairs to his little troll loft. And yeah, you know what? Sometime, Teddy, I will bless you with the forever giving knowledge that is knowing about Cyrex in this world and Cyrex's music. Let me tell you, because you've not heard, like, you've heard of, Heavenly Angels. And there's Heavenly Angels, the Lord's Choir, Cyrex. At least in his mind.
Share screen.
I kind of want to get to where some of the Nick
What the
goes.
pixels?
And I didn't care
SpongeBob.
about the money, and I didn't care about the deals or anything like that. I even told Nick that I wanted to repay him from all of the money that I have made on the podcast that we had together. But going
Ironically, hats are a big trend in the Cyrex world. Not that color, though, thankfully.
back to main subject,
Yeah, well, hey, dude, why even include that in your apology other to make yourself sound better? Listen, I'm a good guy. I even offered to give back all the money. Yeah, fuck yourself.
just so we can't get off track.
As you can tell, Nick was kind of like fucking over this guy at this point. Like, this was, there's a couple even songs here. Like, we gotta listen to the song. Come on, no. As you can hear, there's a whole song that goes with this. The donos are so worth it to like go through and reading this. But Biff the Wolfman, I kind of want to.
I'm a good bunny, though. Yeah, totally not. Yeah, Zippy, great point. I got so sideswiped by that proof. I'm a very good bunny. Yeah. These aren't inappropriate. There's more. There's even more. We'll read even more DMs in his Discord or in his apology video because he leaks all of them in his apology too. He thought this exonerated him. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as you can see, Biff is in the chat and is a chatter for like Nick and Smokey, Kiwi, a few different people. So Biff actually made a video. Biff's actually got some pretty good content. So shout out to this guy. He's really got some fucking good ones out there. But this is the one we're looking at. It's the Birth of a Lolcow one. He's just got some very unusual people that he covers, but shout out to Biff. We're going to watch this really quick because I think Biff does a pretty good job of covering, I think, this is just the apology. BFI played the video. Where was I that I saw someone that I knew come up? I was watching a Medicare stream, and there's somebody on Twitter that I know that I'm pretty sure it has to be an old username because they're way too similar, popped up and was saying things, and this was related to Tonka Saw, because I was looking into Tonka Saw, and that whole Andy Worski Tonka Saw thing, because I've always been kind of curious about that. So I've had it happen, Teddy. I've had it happen. Not with you yet, but I'm sure at some point that's going to come up. Just like Teddy, you were my favorite video coming into this sphere because you edited my my argument that I generated together from Tommy C and Dave, Dead on Dave. You were the one that put together a supercut on that, and that's still favorited. Come on. Oh, mute again.
Started as observers in the community and ended up getting mad at people on Discord, which led to their downfall. I remember when the Bowser stuff was going on, and this one feels more personal. Probably because I talked to Nate a few times. In this video, we're going to look at a little bit about what Nate did, then dissect his apology video. If you want a more in-depth view of what happened from
Yes, that is still one of my favorite titles on a video.
people that were on the inside, check out Nick Nobody's stream. I'll link it in the video description.
By the way,
So as I said, it started with Nate going off on some moderate
Biff has a fantastic voice as well.
In Nick Nobody's Discord server. After trying to smooth that over with a bit of gaslighting, things calmed down until not too long afterwards when they decided to play Uno, and Nate just went crazy. This led to people involved looking deeper into Nate, and they discovered some interesting things. Like he had minors on his Discord server, including a few he had invited for some reason. You see, Nate had it set up that to join his server you had to answer some questions. One being...
See, we're just going to go over the beginning of this video. I don't want to cover the whole thing because he goes into Nate's apology.
Being your age. The investigators were able to get their hands on some of them, so let's take a look at these questions. Let's start with the worst for first. Notice how NateDawG is the one who accepted this user. First question, how did you find out about the server? The owner. Second, what is your age? 16, but I'll turn 17 in a few weeks. What is your favorite video of NateDawG's? I've only watched like 2, so I don't know enough to say I have a favorite. What's the dog doing? Cuddling with me. Okay, that's not creepy at all. No, wait, I take that back. That's incredibly creepy. What the hell, Nate? Alright.
And this was just over a year ago.
Let's look into the other one. Once again, approved by NateDawG. How did you find the server? Owner.
There is an even worse one that is in the live stream where it's a 13-year-old, I believe.
DM'd me. What is your age? 15. What is your favorite DM'd about my Discord server? 0. And my server has a rule that no one under 18 is allowed. I thought Nate had the same rule. I mean, that's why I thought he was asking the ages, but apparently not. Another damning bit of evidence is he had roles on his Discord server for whether you were single, taken, or looking, stuff like that. Why would you have that on a Discord server that you let minors into? And let's not forget about this little part down here. NateDawG saying, no discussing of ages in the server, please. That might be the most damning part of it all.
Chief Dunga.
There's a lot more to it, but like I said, check out Nick Nobody's stream for that because he really, really digs deep. For this video, I want to look closer into the apology that NateDawG uploaded before he nuked all of his content. His YouTube channel, his Discord server. Hell, he even nuked his Reddit account. So let's look.
I didn't know about that until I watched Biff's video, by the way. I didn't know he nuked his Reddit account, too.
Look at that apology video now.
Attention.
Okay, so I just wanted to show that beginning part, but Biff the Wolfman, go check him out. Seriously, got some pretty good content. Goes over some lesser-known Lolcows and stuff. Kind of some really, really, really funny stuff out there. And then just Nick mentioning in here that the stream was re-uploaded to his archive channel. Reason being is that while Nate has disappeared from the internet, he apparently is still lurking around in background in the shadows with his furry suit on, and he's reported the fucking stream that Nick did and got it taken down. And now, mind you, I watched a majority of that stream, and there wasn't anything in there that really was like a no-fly zone for fucking content. But, oh, it looks like we've kind of reached the end of stuff here. So, I know Biff from Back to the Future. Wrong one. This guy's not covered in manure. Although, as you've seen, it's just as dangerous being around it with Lolcows. But yeah, I definitely want to cover the Tonka Saw stuff at some point in time. That whole situation is hilarious. It's hard because there's a lot of things that kind of got buried with like 2018 and nuking of YouTubes and stuff like that. So trying to find like solid congruative content on that is a bit tough right now. But
Yeah, Biff, he thought...
there was something else I wanted to cover with this. And... oh, by the way, this was a fantastic, fantastic fan art done. Just want to shout that out. Spooky. This is Spooky that you heard on Cyrex's stream in Nick's other video. And they're saying even Kuro fought back. If you don't know, Kuro is another furry that I don't know if I'm going to ever talk about they did some pretty deplorable stuff. Like, really genuinely, like, it gets into content that I don't like covering. I would suggest looking at Turkey Tom if you want to find out more info on Kuro and a couple other different Kuro, and then there was someone else. Tom. Cord Kitty. Cord Kitty is another one. Caro and Sappho. If you want to watch three very messed up individuals, this is a nice little trilogy to watch it up. There's some mirrors of some around, but yeah, much of the sector stuff like Worski and Ralph had their channels nuked so hard to find. Yeah, and that's, if you're mentioning Jim, what I think you're mentioning, yes, there's a snake person mentioned in with all this, that Medicare even did a furry stream that I've got favorited. It's hard for me to watch. These people got into some zoo sadism type stuff, and I really don't like the zoo sadism stuff. Like, I don't like listening to it even. It bothers me. It bothers me on a level that I don't like to touch. But Turkey Tom did some... Oh, hey, new subscriber. Thank you so very much. Yeah, zoo sadism is a big nope, Teddy. Yeah, it's... I don't know much about Spooky, to be honest with you guys, so I could just basically take your word for it as far as them being a cloud chaser. I don't know. I could kind of see it with what they did with getting Cyrex to talk about stuff. I'll always stand by the farms. The snake federally charged and convicted. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Kiwi Farms did have some good involvement, positive involvement there. It's just these three individuals are really awful. So in comparison, I will say what we just covered with Nate does not hit this level of depravity. However, I do think it is very appropriate to call him a White Bowser 2.0. There is still stuff coming out on this a little bit. It's kind of slowed down immensely because obviously Nate nuking everything kind of really drove a wedge into like getting any more information out about this. But from what I understand, there may be some people, as far as like some of these younger individuals maybe talking with some of these people behind the scenes. I don't know. Kind of heard about that a little bit during this live stream. If you got some time to kill and want to go through a really good live stream, again, this is 3 hours, but it was super funny at points. I would highly recommend going over to Nick Nobody's archive and checking this out. And that is where the title comes from with the report this if you suck at Uno, because Nate reported the other one. Yeah. See, like, I don't know, because there's different things. So, like, White Bowser is, like, he fits into that typical glass of being a Lolcow, in that he is narcissistic, and Nate doesn't seem as narcissistic. But the thing is that he obviously is like, with what he thought was appropriate to throw in this apology video. I mean, when you really think about it, he victim blames. He's calling out his dying, sick, ovary-less mother, and like how people were mean to him on the internet. He literally hits all the tropes. But you're right, he doesn't have a sense of humor, and he also has the I don't want to call it a speech impediment. I don't really know what to call it. but he basically incorrectly uses words all the time. And it's not like a lisp, it's not like a slur or like a Tourette's type thing. It's more like just he didn't pay attention in English class. Like, that's all I can say. But yeah, Lolcow trading card game though. Seriously, if you're looking at something fun and different for gifts, and if you're really into the Lolcow side, I think this freaking Puff Memorial card is like every time I look at it, it's just funny as hell. Yeah, he really is. Are you? Sound like a slur. Wow. I I misspoke there, Teddy. Thank you for that. I just I don't know. Did I say slur? Now you've got me questioning myself, Teddy. Damn it. Did I say slur? I meant to say lisp. I had that in my head. If I said slur, I don't know why. Damn it. I meant to say lisp. What did I say slur? Now I'm questioning my life. Damn you, Teddy. But anyway, yeah, there is some stuff I'll share because I'm looking at ending this stream a little earlier than normal. Oh, Mr. Nagar. Yep. I was thinking about him. Let's see. I want to cover... I've seen some very interesting ones, use of things with that, by the way, recently. So, we are going to get into this. I've been looking into this, obviously, a little bit more. This person, if you want a good laugh, if you're looking for some levity in your life, I would highly recommend Biff. Biff the Wolfman kind of got me started down this path of looking at Little Lunchbox here. This person's like clinically insane. I think it's going to be a hilarious thing. Obviously, I told you about there's some Tonka Saw stuff I'm looking into. NateDawG stuff I'll throw into a playlist. This is the Mr. Medicare Furries thing. This, if you're looking for a condensed, like, whole, like a one-stop shop of, like, what's going on, this covers literally Snake Thing, which was mentioned by Jim in chat, Caro, Zoostatus, and a bunch of different things. It's not funny. This is pretty dark. This is one of those times that I really recommend, like, being in the right mental space before you go into watching. I guess you can kind of see a little bit of what I'm looking into and why I mentioned that there may be some trigger warnings on a soon coming, on like a upcoming stream, I guess. I don't think I've ever been so angry at a stream than watching that Jim stream. Yeah, that Medicare stream gets you going. There's not a whole lot of things that really get to me as much as that is one subject. This whole plagued moth is an interesting subject, and it touches on something that I know a little bit about with the gore community. If you don't know, there's a whole battle that's been going on for about a year now. It kind of really got heated like 5 months ago, but I think it's kind of reigniting a little bit with plagued moth and someone called That Creepy Reading. There's a lot of other people that came out, and this is a whole nother spiral we'll eventually go down. But needless to say, plagued moth did some weird things in Discord as well, and I agree with the person that is kind of speaking out against him a little bit there. I know the content that he's showing. I know what he's talking about, and I can tell you that it's not suitable for minors. I can tell you that much. Regardless of whether they lied or not, it is not suitable for minors. Just like, you know, the images that you saw from Nick's video there, not suitable for minors either, especially not in a channel on a Discord that's not labeled 18 plus. You have no way of dictating that they're over 8. That's one thing that kind of, sorry, I'm going on a bit of a rant here. It's one thing that kind of stuck out to me is that with all this stuff that he knew to set up for roles with the Taken, single, looking, and all that stuff, he never stated that he set up any way for anyone to really stand out by age group. Now, I've heard that he did. I heard that he knew the ages. Obviously, from the questions, he would know the ages. But, like, I don't understand how he didn't have, like, I'm an idiot. Okay? Like, Teddy just proved it not long ago. I'm a fucking idiot. Okay? And I was able to figure out a way to make it so that I can only have people that I know are over the age into a channel that was that way. So I really don't I don't get how this person whom is younger than me and therefore probably more proficient, at least more experienced with Discord than I am, could not set up a way to take minors and keep them safe within their Discord. Slime Beast covered it too. Apparently he's admitted to viewing certain material that pairs well with... Yep. We're going to touch on that, Jim. There's a lot of context that goes back and forth with that, and I've not found a definitive answer on him with that context. It has to do with some, I think it's Peter Scully content. I don't know if Peter's his first name. I'm pretty sure it's Peter. Anyway, Mr. Scully has been associated with some generated content that is very infamous, and Plagued Moth has some ties to that content, obviously not in the generation or creation of, but in going over it. And we're going to kind of get into some different morals with him, and I think that's really what the argument comes down to, is a moral argument when it comes to him, where when I touch on the completionist stuff, and I do have that pretty prepared. I think that's going to possibly be our end of the year, possibly beginning of the year. I don't know if I want to wait and see. I don't know when he files his taxes, so there's probably going to be a follow-up with the completionist. But I did find out a couple things that people have not picked apart with his videos that I'm aware of, that I want people to be aware of, because I had the questions as someone coming from an accounting background. I don't have an accounting degree. I studied it in high school. I lettered in it. I got away from it. I got into the computer side of things for a while, auto mechanics side of things, and now I've kind of circled back with software, getting into ERPs and everything else, to where I now work in an accounting environment, where my wife also works in an accounting environment that deals heavily with charities. So I'm still trying to piece together how I want to put that into the stream. But yeah, I really am looking forward to that. That's what I'm excited about, because there's some really cool, easily digestible content that people have not talked about, and it's got me asking some questions. Other than that, Plagued Moth is probably going to be after the first of the year for sure, because there's a lot of documentation that I'm going through. I was able to access a file for that. Slime Beast is on my list for that, as well as Lazy Bedhead. There's just a lot of content to digest there. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of information about the information that's out there. So it's a matter of me kind of sorting through it and putting it into a digestible, less than 30-hour format for you guys. Oh no, Teddy. Well, I'm gonna obviously take this off stream because I know better. Oh no. Hey, look, don't you hate on my bot, okay, Teddy? Don't you be hating on my bot there, Teddy. Look, it's my promotion, okay? I gotta figure out a way to do promotion because I'm like most YouTubers starting out, I'm awful at it and I can't self promote because I just like get a little tick going every time I try and do it. So this is my promotion. This is me doing it without doing it. It's a silent protest, okay, Teddy? Let me be a contrarian. Teddy was just talking about how he's not a fan of my Elements bot, which I don't know. I could probably set the timer a little farther apart on that thing. I'm still learning, so bear with me on that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to going over some content. Like I said, I'm not going to cover this kind of stuff, so I will say if you're interested in it, there's some very, very, very interesting stories out there to go over. My bot is trying his best, okay? Don't pick on him. He's just a little bot. I'll time it out a little bit different for the next stream, so hopefully it's not as infuriating, Teddy. I'll work on it. But yeah, I mean, I don't think you guys can see that. Okay, good. I don't want to give away too much because I got a link going on up top here that I just didn't want to give away for upcoming content. But yeah, I think I'm going to try and do some gaming stream here possibly before the end of the year. No promises on that because I'm still trying to figure out Twitch, and Twitch is just a different streaming environment for me. I think I got everything linked up to where I can use my Streamlabs and not look like a regard. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. Oh my god, where'd the camera go on this one? Wait, why is my camera missing on this one? Oh, because I clicked the wrong one. There's the one I'm looking for. Yeah, so I know I'm going to do some gaming stuff soon. I'm not a very good gamer, so don't expect a whole lot out of that. I'm probably just going to lazily play my way through things, and you're probably going to see a lot of ADD moments. You're going to beat my bot? Yeah, it's I'm looking forward to a couple of things we got coming up. I've got a bunch of things planned out. I've got a couple other interesting Lolcows that I've learned about in the community that hopefully I get to be like part of the introduction to. This is AI abuse. I kind of want to see what Teddy does to the bot. I might increase activity for the next stream before I decrease it. Oh god, what was I? I'm gone off on a tangent. I forgot everything I was going to say. Yeah, no, we got the Plague Moth thing we'll have coming up. We got a Completionist thing we'll have coming up. Little Lunchbox is going to be one. Aw, well, that's very sweet of you, Teddy. How considerate. Oh god, the Little Lunchbox. An individual, very, very, very different individual called Underwear on Head. Not to be confused with Shoe on Head. Tonka saw. Oh god, there was one other thing. Let me see if I can find it. Just to give you guys kind of an idea of what's coming up. We already went over the NateDawG stuff. I will make sure that we've got a playlist for that if you want to go through stuff. Dream. How could I forget? There's all the Dream stuff going on. That's kind of funny, and I kind of want to pick on his fan base. Well, his anti-fan base, particularly. There's the whole Destiny thing we may eventually touch on. Destiny has got so much lore and so much backstory. I still have Spoonie we're going to look into at one point. I really do want to get into, but I've been saving it, the Illuminati thing, as well as H Bomber Guy. There's some really, really, really interesting stories there. I think that are worth looking into, but I'm trying to let stuff develop a little bit. I don't want to I'm not one to be big on top of like the instant drama. Oh, and JF Jerpay. We're going to talk about him at some point. So, I mean, we got plenty of content to get us through till probably spring. Daniel Larson's going to eventually make it in there. Mr. Medicare, I do want to at least do a couple streams on him. Particularly a series that he ran for a little bit called Internet Insanity. If you've never heard of it, I would recommend checking that out. Teddy, you say things that I can't repeat on air, but they make me laugh. And I'm so thankful now that I have my chat on display so people can also see and enjoy this. Terry A. Davis, I will have to check that out. I will definitely have to check that out. I really kind of want to cover, and I feel like this is not touched on enough. I want to cover Ralph, Killstream, Pillstream, Ralph Retort, Ralpha Male. We will probably get into that at some point. There's a lot of different information and weird stuff with him that's just so funny. I know what I forgot. This one will probably make it in before the end of the year. We're going to cover an app called Candid. And there's some very, 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 very interesting and weird stuff that is involved with this app. Sorry, I do these nicotine pouches. It's way better than freaking smoking or tobacco. But... Yep, we're going to get into some pill shaking. We're also going to cover, I think that if we get into all that, it would lead nicely into tying into doing a stream talking about flamenco. Yeah, but I kind of want to show, where was it? Let me get this going. We might touch a little bit on this because, yeah, it's a little early. I don't want to end my stream quite yet, so I'm digging for content. Let's see, live. Make sure. So, this is a very interesting individual. So, Bindu Reddy is the CEO for an app called Candid. This app was targeted towards the skeptic community, and it was kind of like Telegram. I think it's is it Telegram or Telegraph? Now I'm confused. Telegram or Telegraph for kind of like people that were like alternative communities. And when I say that, I mean like the skeptic communities, like I would say more right-wing communities. It's not as blatantly right-wing as Truth Social is, but still that's what it was targeted towards, right? And this is kind of one of those weird experiments on people. It's kind of like an MK Ultra thing the more I've dug into this. And there's just so much going on here that basically they took this app, they promoted it to this community under the name Candid. These people use this app. Well, the company was actually using these people to use this app to get them to train their AI for things to look out for. And when they shut this app down, it only was up for like a year. This company has then gotten sold on to Uber, and then from Uber it changed its name, and from changing its name, it's changed its name and brought some people on and off with it. There's a lot to cover with this. But basically, this is now a it's still a multi-million-dollar AI software that has been trained to be sold to left-wing people. That is that is it's sold to left-wing people, but it's been trained to look for right-wing individuals because of how they developed this app. And Bindu Reddy is she was initially part of Team Google and separated off of Team Google to then create this application. And so she's got some very, very strong familiarity with Google. From there, it went to, like I said, the software was up for a year. Oh, it then closed down and was sold to Uber. But it's a weird transition that I'll show when we get into the stream for this, from Uber. And then it kind of went on to become its own company. That company now leads to kind of like a bot site where like you can purchase likes and shares and stuff like that. And from there, all of a sudden, this company created its new software. Even though the software that was sold, that it's been rebranded, from what I could tell, does not exist. I'm sorry, I squeaked. I'm looking at... Teddy, you're fighting AI and you're losing, and I'm sorry. I'm here for it. I'm here for you. But I cannot turn this off right now. Oh man, Teddy, I'm gonna give you the W. I'm just gonna say you defeated the AI and ignore chat for a bit. Let me play this.
Harmful opinions is God. Harmful opinions is God. Harmful opinions is God. Harmful opinions is God.
I've been accused many times recently of being a crazy conspiracy theorist for the videos I made about Candid, the anonymous app that invites you to speak freely and receive unfiltered opinions, but then doesn't really give you that. In particular, these accusations are thanks to the parts of my videos where I said, this bit's for conspiracy theorists and tinfoilers, and I don't think this is likely to be true. Fuck me for having some fun and suggesting wild stuff, right? I've never done that in a video before, but still, to make up for it to those who were annoyed, I'm gonna suggest a conspiracy theory about myself. I think that'll even everything out. So this one's for you, Bindu Reddy, CEO of Candid. This one's for all the shills wearing tinfoil. Here's a conspiracy theory for you. What if people like, say, I don't know, Bearing, just to pick a random name, have been working with me this whole time, and the reason I made 4 somewhat repetitive videos was because I saw you cracking a bit more each time, and based on the info I'd been leaked by a handful of people, I could tell I was pushing you in the right direction to fuck up like you have now done. Of course, that's not what's happened at all, and if you believe it is what's happened, you're just crazy and paranoid. There is no evidence of anything like that having happened.
Teddy turned the AI into 682. That's great.
And if there was evidence of that, I'm sure Candid's CTO would have found it. You see, when people criticize Candid, he digs into them. I'd love to show you more about this, but Mark Kern, the person Candid's CTO was looking into.
So anyway, lovely evil villain individual that's speaking right now is Harmful Opinions, which if you've ever watched enough Medicare or Ralph, you probably might have heard this person brought up before. He's got an interesting story where he was able to flip somebody internally and get more information on this whole app than anybody else was able to get, and he's since made he made several videos, kind of like his I said this in my head, Syphilocalypse, which, if you don't know, I think it's Greek, story with syphilis or Sisyphus. Or no, it's Shilocalypse. I thought it was Sisyphus that he was referring to. I misconstrued the names. Sisyphus, anyway, to get off on a whole tangent, is the guy that's pushing the heavy boulder up the hill all the time, and it rolls down the other side, and it's this ongoing thing of him pushing this boulder up a hill, and that's his punishment. Mark Hearn. It's a work of Blizzard. It very well could be. I've not looked enough into this yet. There's still a whole lot of stuff going on in the background with this, but there's a lot of high-level individuals with this. Sisyphus is you, IRL. I feel like everyone can everyone can relate to that story. Tangent again. There is a fantastic show on Netflix called Sisyphus. So, yeah, here's your representation of Sisyphus, if anybody's wondering. And there is a Netflix show of the same name. It's actually kind of pretty interesting, too. Also deals with AI. I don't know if that's where my brain went to relate to everything. But anyway, we're going to eventually watch a couple really good videos that were put out by Harmful Opinions and a couple mirror channels that have uploaded this stuff. If you look back, this goes back 5 years ago. So this application came out and lasted from 2016 to 2017. I don't know if I started a note on this, but let me see if I can open this up just to show you kind of some of the weird stuff going on with this. I don't know if I started one. I don't think I did. I thought I started a link though. Bear with me. I am the world's best streamer. Let's see what I got. History. Nope. Where's my bookmarks? Manager. Open hand. Okay, so we're gonna pull this up because this gives you a really interesting outlook on stuff. Oh, can I not see it? Hold on. I'm trying to get a page together because this was kind of off on a tangent. But I want to show the flow. This one has it. Okay. Here, we're going to look at this right here. So this is Bindu Reddy. Or Reedy. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. So she's got a CEO and co-founder, and now it's Reality Engines AI. This goes into a company called Abacus AI, which is what the present iteration of Candid is. But I just kind of want to show that she was a group product manager going back to Google. From there, she went on to found Post Intelligence, and we're going to open this in a new tab. And Post Intelligence is who developed Candid. Candid was then sold to Uber in June of 2017. From there, that's where it becomes Post Intelligence, actually. And it's, even though you can kind of see right here, it says January 2010 to June of 2017. Post Intelligence, which is the parent company of Candid, is what is sold on to Uber. But looking at these companies is kind of interesting. So when you look at Post Intelligence, it says that it's a social media assistant. and basically it helps you gain followers, likes, and stuff like that, right? Well, if you go to the link for it, it just doesn't support any of the actual type of stuff that you see involved with Candid. It's all about buying auto likes and bots and stuff like that, right? So why would Uber want this? And what purpose would it serve? And then here's the original app. And you can see it was founded in March 2016. It lasted literally just over a year. By Bindu Reddy. It's now closed. This had several $1 million worth of like startup into it and everything else. It's a relatively small company. Going to the website again. Now I'm just waiting for stream elements so I can keep it going. A lot more fit than me, though. You know what, Jim? I am not the most fit person in the world. But yeah, I think this is a dead link. Like, literally, you get nothing out of here, which is just so weird with the internet that even a company that was sold on, yeah, see? It dead links. It basically says that the host cannot be found. But you can kind of find some information on Candid and what it was, as well as some related news activity. That news activity, like I said, leads on to Post Intelligence, which is now this, being sold to Uber at some point. From Uber, they gained, Bindu gained a couple different individuals, and she now runs this Abacus AI, which is really interesting. Abacus, as you can see, is a Series C company, which means it's I forget what the Series C means. Oh, top of my head, damn. It's got around 250 employees. It's in the exact same location as everything else that you'll see. The funding that went into this is kind of interesting, but what's really interesting is when you start looking at who's involved with this company, because you now have Bindu. You also have people. This doesn't give me the information like Abacus AI. About us. It's just really weird how this software progressed. But it talks about having deep learning AI pieces. There's a lot of people that were previously at Google, Uber. You can kind of see Oz with Amazon. Everywhere these people worked, like they kind of came together and basically kind of built this whole thing together, and it's just very, 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 very unusual. And I want to see if I can find. How's it coming, Teddy? I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep laughing, but this chat is hilarious, and I'm just so glad that I have it on screen. Oh man, hold on, wait, we're missing this live feed. We gotta get the chat. So what were we looking for? Yeah, it's just really weird when you look at this board. It's ex-chairman for Google. Google. There's a lot of Google ties here. There was someone important that I was looking for. I think it's this guy. Featured on... I'm trying to find... It's predictive modeling, I think, is what it was tied into. See, they tout as being able to deep train models and stuff like that. But what it all came from was this Candid app. I believe the guts of this technology is potentially coming from that Candid app. And it's just very, very weird. There's so much, obviously, to go over. This gets into some really deep, like, some, I don't know. I kind of almost really want to say Terminator-esque type things. When I started looking into it, it freaked me out for a bit. But I'm glad to share this with you guys if this is something that's actually interesting to everybody. But yeah, it's definitely a weird look into AI and understanding how the software gets passed on, renamed, etc. What do we got? Stream elements messing up my style. Hold on. I wonder if I can... Here, can I time them out? I'll time them out for 30 minutes, Teddy. I timed out stream elements, I think. Hopefully I didn't time you out for 30 minutes. Nope, didn't work, huh? Aw. I can't time out. Aw. As someone who's into tech, is anyone else who's frightened or lack of concern in general public towards dangers of emergent AI? Yeah, that's kind of what gets me on this whole thing. There was an article that I read. Oh, good Lord. This had been like 3 years ago, probably 2-3 years ago. That was really good about like understanding why certain fears there was a part of me that didn't know if I was selected on the right user, Teddy. I'm not gonna lie. So there was a high likelihood it could have been you. And that's where I was like, well, we're just gonna wait and see because I don't know how to fix this. I just wish there's gotta be something I can do. Add user as moderator. Put user in timeout. Remove? Can I remove? Did that actually remove it? Or does it just say deleted now? I don't know. But yeah, no, AI is kind of maybe a mod so I can handle this. You know what, Teddy? You've been around long enough. I will actually make you a mod. Add as moderator. There. Save. There you go, Teddy. I just want to see what Teddy's going to do with this mod power with stream elements. There's nothing that if you break it, I can't fix, so have at it. But yeah, no, there's... Oh, God. I really want to see if I can find... I don't want to look like an idiot and search this on stream, so let's see if I can find... Oh, it's not going to be in here either. Oh. Teddy, if that makes you feel better, I am all for it. I want to see if I can find this article. AI in the future? Is this the one I'm trying to think of? There was a fantastic article I'm gonna have to try and dig up, because I'm not finding it quickly offhand, that had to deal with AI and how AI is, there's like different, like you're talking about, I tell you what, if Stream Elements becomes Hell 9000, I'm blaming Teddy 100%. I'm not taking any responsibility. But no, you were talking about like the lack of concern general public has towards the dangers of emergent AI. There's a couple different, and I forget the terminology, and I don't want to misuse terminology. There's a couple different forms of AI, and there's like almost like a capacitive one where it's kind of more learning, and there's a one's like what you see with Chat GTP and stuff like that, where it's an actual like it produces, and just the impacts of the two different types of AI and how they're likely to impact the future and just different professions and stuff like that. It kind of gets into a very unique you know, the way I kind of like to articulate it is there are safe things and there are unsafe things. Like the position I'm in with the knowledge that I have, I'm probably safe enough with my future as far as working in the developments of AI. There are people that no, I have not read any articles about Bing's AI yet. I haven't really followed up on anything previous to Chat GPT 3 was when I last really read some articles on stuff. But it's becoming very interesting in how like you're seeing a lot more artistic creations that have come about, and there's, I think, eventually going to be a value placed on people who can create artistically using AI, but there's also going to be some limits and things that I'm sure you'll see. Like if you've seen the Lolcow podcast, I'm sure when they created their initial banner with Tommy running from the cows, right? Oh yeah, there's already full AI, or well, not full AI, but predominantly AI YouTubers on both, well, YouTube, TikTok, and I'm sure probably Facebook and stuff like that. But the thing that I think is going to come down to a master is like being able to take AI and make it work to get you the base level information, and then being able to manipulate it to make it polished. I think it's going to become a big thing. There was a journalist who had a conversation with it, and apparently it said that it was alive, fell in love with a guy, threatened his wife, expressed fear being shut down. That does not surprise me. Okay, so I'm going to go off on my yet another tangent here. Hold on just a second. So, what people do not understand, and this is kind of coming from a very interesting side of things, I'm going to touch on some straight up nerdy stuff. If I got it. I don't know if I've got it. Oh. If I do, we can look at some really, really nerdy stuff. Actually, we can go about it this way, and it won't look as bad. We're gonna go. There it is. I've been familiarized with AI probably a lot longer than most people, and it's funny because it's in a sphere that most people do not think of AI existing in. So this, give you a rundown. HP Tuners is a software that allows me to access the computer on a vehicle to tune it, to make it better, to make it perform better, correct? So within that, I've been heavy into Chrysler, because that's the kind of vehicles that I had owned. So I mainly own like Dodge Challengers and stuff like that. Like, that's just part of what I do. Well, they have a software called the neural network, and the neural network actually uses a level of AI in taking a bunch of information from peripherals, which would be the different sensors around the engine, the exhaust, and all that, and taking it and computing that information and making it perform the best that it can given anything that's going on. So this is where I could see kind of the future of AI and kind of that coexistence coming. Is I think if we use AI to perform things to enhance our already existing systems, we can really come up with some great stuff. Like, I worked on something. I broke AI for a bit. Who did I break? I think I broke either ChatGTP 3.5 or it was Bard. One of the two I broke for a bit. I just kind of was theorizing what you could do with AI. So I had it build a definitive database taking into account okay, so here's my level of nerdiness. We're really gonna get down nerdy here, okay, so I went on a cruise back in October. This was an anniversary cruise, and at the time I was playing around with AI. Well, in order to make my cruise experience better, I was like, oh, I can maybe use AI to build an itinerary, something that I don't think a lot of people maybe thought of yet. But so I took this AI and I said, okay, it was Cozumel. I said, okay, Cozumel, this set of dates, I want to look at attractions in the area, time out an itinerary based on traffic patterns, based off of Google Maps, because I would be able to use Google Maps for travel times and understand like kind of what it would be like to take a taxi. So I could take a taxi from one side to the other. Okay, I know how long that takes because that's going on perpetually, and they're getting the data for that. So then I could plan out a full day using AI, and then I was even able to twist it and manipulate it slightly into taking into account that I've got a physical disability in how I walk, and so that there's things that are limited. Well, going through the web, you're going to be able to find out like these are handicap accessible versus these are not. And so I had it take all of that data together and plan out itineraries that were handicapped accessible for the time I was there, for the time frame that I wanted to be there. And it actually was able to take all of that data compounded and come up with not one, but 10 different itineraries for me, which I thought was a really cool and interesting way to play with the stuff. So then I started really breaking it and looking into taking that at a larger scale, and you could take cruises and flights and plan different itineraries based on extrapolation of data for different areas, like say New York City. Okay, if I'm taking a flight in New York City, take the time and then take things in the area, make itineraries. What else did I do with it that I broke it? Trying to create an alert system based on percentage values of homes in an area so that I know when there's a downtrend in values versus an uptrend in values, because everybody thinks houses only grow. They don't only grow because you got to take into account interest rates. So interest rates with home values and when would be a good time to buy. I've really kind of broken AI a couple different ways, just using it for a couple different clever thought processes that are, I do have the programmatic abilities to express. I could not make a nice GUI if I ever wanted to. What else did we do? I played around with it and came up with We did a role-playing game. It was just it developed an ongoing, evolving story for me, doing kind of like a tabletop Dungeons and Dragons type thing. I even had it auto-generate a character for me. So I think there's ways to use AI to really enhance our living experience. It's going to be a matter of how it comes about, because you've got a lot of different global powers involved. Obviously, there's always going to be an application for war with AI. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. The less civilian casualties you ever have in a war, the better. The less, military casualties you have, the better too. I'm for it to some extent. I just don't want it to be our primary goal and stuff. Stuff like that is cool, but human nature and desire to play God, yep, you're getting into the thought process is the same one that makes me hesitant as well. And it's not really necessarily the human nature aspect of it so much as the people whom are in power and their access to sway the way these softwares are used and manipulated. So like I said, it's kind of interesting with the whole candid thing when we go to cover that topic, how this basically, it's kind of a head fuck in that they used the software and promoted it for a community to learn from that community how to block that community. And now they promote that software to the other side of the community. So it's right there, plain and simple. I think it's weird. I think it's weird when people do that and they don't feel the urge to share that with the people. It kind of becomes, it feels like intrusive. It feels like it's getting into your personal space. And that's where I kind of become fearful for it. I don't know. I see some good, I see some bad coming out of things. It's always Beetlejuice will come out. Community. Nothing happened, Daddy. I'm going to take your wrench away. Yeah, I see it going a couple different ways. I don't know. I think you'll see good evolution. I think you'll see bad out of it. Yeah, stage fright. But to talk to what you were talking about there, Teddy, yeah, there is a couple different things. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Let me see if I can pull one up. I can kind of see, what's his name? Yes, I found him. Hold on. You want to see a content creator that I think you could see totally replaced by AI relatively quickly? We're going to here, this guy. This is probably one of the most replaceable human beings by AI. You're convinced Mr. Beast is AI. I feel like it's designed as a tool is fine, but it reminds me of a gun. I like a gun. I just don't want the gun to be able to fire on its own and have its own perceived targets. I agree. But you want to talk about content creators that I could totally see being replaced by AI. I would totally see a Darman. But this is becoming a big deal. In a lot. So, no, this is for the actual movie. So, this is becoming quite a big thing as far as like having it write and conceive movies, as far as like different movie verses. I see this as becoming more and more and more and more prevalent. Yeah, they are insane. Darman ripoffs? I didn't know there was Darman ripoffs. Wait a minute. Darman stuff is just absolutely out of this world. I don't know how that person makes as much money as they do with the content that they make, because it's such a poor quality content. Matt's intro, that's been already done. Top 10 articles. Oh man, I'm gonna have to go down that rabbit hole, Teddy. I don't think I'll do it on stream, but I definitely will have to look and see if there's Darman ripoffs. But yeah, this is becoming a bigger thing. There's a big trend apparently on TikTok right now where they have AI reading out like synopses of different movies. And it's just awful. You love Darman stuff in a way you don't think he intended it to be loved. It blows my mind that he creates the content that he creates, which, mind you, great. It's got fantastic values. It's virtuous content, but he creates it and it's so fucking god awful so many times out of 10. Like, I just don't know how he gets away with it with the amount of money that he makes. I don't know. I totally see AI becoming more and more and more prevalent with our political political campaigns and stuff like that, presidential elections. I do see this becoming a thing more and more and more. What else? There was something I was going to show you, Teddy, and I'm trying to remember it. I know what it was. We'll have one more good laugh before I end the stream. Let me see. I'm going to have to go off stream, but I will bring this on stream. Nope. I want to make sure this is muted because I don't really want it playing because we're going to watch it. Where's my history view all? The whole 8 passengers thing we might touch on eventually. I know it. Oop! I just flung something, but hold on a second. No. Not what I was looking for. We're gonna watch this. Wait, why am I muted? Where's my volume? Why is everything gone? Wait a minute. There it is.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Teddy.
Today, we're talking about activism.
But Lindsay...
Yes, Teddy?
We already know all about activism.
Well, we've definitely talked about activism before, but it's so important that I thought it deserves its very own episode.
Oh,
are part of one big family.
We're here to educate Teddy on activism.
Gaming's happy. Queer kid stuff. You are enough here at Queer Kid Stuff.
Teddy, we've already talked so much about activism.
Like my favorite book.
Oh yeah, A is for activist. We learned the ABCs of activism. And we learned about activism when we talked about the women.
Teddy, what can you tell us?
talked about pride and the stone wall.
Teddy, you're an expert already.
I am.
Teddy, you got a lot of
activist
explaining to do.
An active spurt.
We'll work on that one. The Women's March and Stonewall are both examples of one kind of activism. Protest. Protest.
By the way, Teddy, you've never told me that you know how to cook. Like, I watched this video, and I was genuinely surprised.
Is a really important part of activism, but there are lots and lots of other ways to be an activist. But we're actually getting a little ahead of ourselves. Teddy, since you are such an expert, do you think you can define activism for us?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, Teddy, but you know what? This brought up a lot of questions. Activism is things conservatives hate when liberals do it, but I love it when they do it themselves. True, gay.
You ready, Lindsay?
Ready, Teddy.
Okay. An activist is someone who takes action to change something they care about.
By the way, I think you did a good job here, Teddy.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Activism is also super personal. The ways you want to take action and the things you want to take action for are different for everyone. Hey, Teddy, do you like pie?
I love apple pie.
I didn't know this about you, Teddy.
But what does pie have to do with activism?
That is an excellent question, Teddy. Being a good activist is sort of like baking a pie.
What?
First, we need to make the pie crust, and that takes a couple of ingredients. The first ingredient is privilege. Remember when we talked about privilege, Teddy?
Yeah, you and Allie sang a song about the monkey bars.
I need to know about this song, Teddy.
Have such a good memory, Teddy. Exactly. So understanding privilege, that's our first ingredient. If you don't remember what privilege is, you can rewatch our video on privilege or sing along to our privilege song, then come right back here.
What's the next ingredient?
Our next ingredient is intersectionality.
Oh, I remember. It's about all the parts of identity.
Exactly. So practicing intersectionality and remembering that all the parts of our identity together have to do with our privilege is the second ingredient. You can rewatch that episode too if you need to jog your memory.
Is there
Teddy, feel free. Anybody can make jokes or whatever here. Like, look, y'all are your own individuals. Feel free to make the jokes you want. I will never judge. I may laugh. I may not laugh. I encourage everyone to be themselves here. My voice isn't like that. Why is she making me? This is your punishment for stream elements.
Another ingredient?
The next ingredient is actually a couple ingredients together that we're going to add separately. A good ally.
And there are 3 parts to being a good ally.
Yep.
You gotta separate your ingredients. Activism is all about separating things. You do not want to mix them together.
They're remembering to respect other people, listen to other people, and learn from other people. You can rewatch that one too if you need to.
It takes a lot of stuff to make an activist pie, Lindsay. You're so good at it.
Well, all it takes is practice, Teddy. So now we have to mix it all together and roll it out into a pretty pie crust, and there you go.
But...
What is it, Teddy?
It's just a crust. It's not a pie yet. It needs its inside.
Well, that's
Oh, these analogies are awful gay.
where you come in.
I'm the filling?
Oh, no, Teddy.
You.
The filling is all about you and your activism. It's about
There's so many innuendo type jokes you can make off of this too, like alluding to things.
how you want to make change and what you want to change. You can put anything you want in your pie.
Like LGBTQ plus stuff?
Exactly right, Teddy. LGBTQ plus stuff is definitely in my pie and YouTube videos. That's one way I like to be an activist.
Now, mind you, I don't know if they really thought this video. What's the final step on making a pie? So they just put the LGBTQ ingredients into the pie. Where's the pie gonna go?
Through these videos.
so I could put protest in my pie.
Yes.
Teddy, you can totally put protest into your activist pie. I also really like chocolate, so I'm gonna stick that in the pie.
This is going in the oven. This is going in the oven.
Look at that! We've got our very first activist pie, Teddy. Dig in!
Yum!
Oh, actually, Teddy, there's one last thing we need to remember about our activist pies. I've had a lot of practice making activist pies, but they don't always come out perfect like this. Being an activist is kind of hard, and we don't always get it right, especially when we're first starting. But all it takes is a little bit of practice and some recipe tweaking, and you'll be making your very own activist pies.
Oh, I can share so much content that people hate. This is so funny. This is the stuff I troll the internet for, just to make me laugh.
Wow.
Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching Queer Kid Stuff. We have brand new episodes this season coming every other Wednesday. Don't forget to subscribe, like the Facebook page, and donate to our Patreon page like our pals over there. You can also check out our website, queerkidstuff.com. We'll see you next time at Queer Kid Stuff.
I haven't protested at anything since I was young. What did you end up protesting, Gay? I'm kind of interested. I don't mind finding out more. I would never say yum. I hate this. Why did she make me so little? Teddy, that's something you gotta take up with corporate. What else? Oh, there's tons of stuff. I think there's a pineapple video that I heard about. I know you like your fruit content. Let's see. Here's Teddy's.
Welcome to Queer Kid Stuff. I'm Lindsay, and this is my best friend Teddy. Today, we're talking about the T in LGBT.
Spill the tea, Teddy. I saw this come up, Teddy, and I just immediately was like, oh yeah, next time you're in the chat. Warren Iraq Bush and other things. I was also an advocate for mental health. That's awesome, Gay. I remember a lot of stuff, and I'm very, very... I have a lot of political opinions when it comes to the war and things that were done, especially surrounding 9/11 and including our current president. So I'm very much neither party. I like to consider myself more of a centralist, libertarian kind of. I don't know. I've never really done a political barometer type test. Eddie, I'm so sorry I read your name with this content. We'll watch a little bit more of this where Teddy can explain the T in LGBT.
Welcome to the final part of our 4-part series breaking down the letters in LGBT. You ready, Teddy?
Ready.
Okay. Today we are...
Did you guys catch that, by the way? Wait a minute.
Queer Kid Stuff. You are enough here at Queer Kid Stuff. Welcome to the final part of our 4-part
series
breaking down the letters in LGBT.
I thought she missed a letter initially. By the way, what's on the blackboard behind them? We just dropped B, went to Q.
You ready, Teddy?
Ready.
Okay. Today we are talking about the 4th letter, T. T stands...
I think there's a number involved. And I'm not like being pedantic. I really think there's a number involved, but I can't
stands
remember.
for trans or trans...
LGBTQIA 2+, I think.
Transgender.
Ooh, that's a cool new word.
Definitely, Teddy. Let's get into it. Do you have any siblings, Teddy?
Yes. I have a little baby bear brother.
And I have a little sister. Do you remember when your little baby bear brother was born?
Yeah.
Well, do you remember the very first thing you learned about the new baby bear in your life?
That he cried a lot?
No, Teddy. You probably learned that your little baby bear brother was your little baby bear brother. That your new sibling was a boy.
Teddy, I was going to ask you about that. Why you're naked throughout this whole thing. You didn't even have the decency to wear a shirt. It's disgusting.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely it.
That's the very first thing doctors tell you when a new baby is born, whether they're human or bear. They
No
tell
matter what,
parents
they're
that
all
their
boys.
baby is a boy or a girl.
Oh, thanks
That's
for clearing
called
that up.
a gender assignment, when doctors announce that babies are boys and girls.
But now
That
I'm
was a mid-answer, Teddy.
confused. When we talked about gender, we said that there aren't just boys and girls.
You have a really great memory, Teddy. You're right.
I noticed who's back, by the way.
There's something a bit weird about how doctors assign gender to babies. That's because there aren't only boys and girls. And because not all people identify with their assigned gender.
Oh, so the doctors are wrong sometimes?
Yes, Teddy. Sometimes doctors don't assign the right genders. When a person does not identify with the gender they're assigned when they're born, they are...
Oh god, I've turned the chat against Stream Elements, and this is hilarious.
trans or transgender. People who are trans can be boys or girls or people too.
And I can always ask...
I didn't know before this video that trans people weren't people until they're people.
someone their pronoun, just like you taught me.
That's right, Teddy. There's also another word you should know. It's the word cisgender. Someone who is cisgender
is a bad person.
Does identify with the gender they're assigned.
Okay, so since you were assigned girl and you use she, then you are cisgender.
That is exactly right, Teddy.
Lindsay, I'm really good at this gender stuff now.
Okay, so now we want to know how you identify. You can let us know
How do you identify, Teddy? I just want to make sure.
in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching season 1 of Queer Kid Stuff. We really appreciate you watching, and we hope you enjoyed learning about everything LGBT, gay, feminist, all of those fun things we've been talking about. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for updates about season 2.
How did your contract go in season 2, Teddy? I need to know. Oh, look at that. It's so inclusive the comments are turned off. I want to know more about. I want to know more about these seasons. How many? There's 4 seasons. Tommy's gonna have to catch up. He's in his final season. He hasn't even made it out of season 1 yet. I want to find the pineapple. I heard there's a pineapple video. Imagine it's in their popular ones. Oh, look, you showed up with a shirt on a couple of these. Good job, Teddy. Really went out of your way. Oh, you gave a TED Talk, Teddy. Couldn't even share this. Yeah, there's something about a pineapple in here. Yeah, here.
Hey there, friends.
This will be our last lesson for the day.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Teddy.
Welcome to season 4 of Queer Kid Stuff.
Season 4, oh my goodness.
Teddy, I can't believe we're already on season 4.
I can.
Are you ready to kick off our 4th season?
Yes. What are we talking about today, Lindsay?
Today we're talking about diversity. Queer Kid Stuff.
It's an old wooden ship.
You are enough here at Queer Kid Stuff.
You ready, Teddy?
Ready, Lindsay.
Okay. Today we're talking about something called diversity.
Diversity.
Diversity is an idea or a concept.
Just like the word queer. That means you can't touch it.
That's right. The word queer is also a concept. It's not a thing you can
I didn't know you can get secondhand embarrassment from a video that was created, when? 4 years ago?
touch or smell, but when diversity is there, you can usually see it.
Really?
Yep. Diversity means that there are lots of different things.
Huh?
There are lots of different kinds of fruit, right, Teddy?
Yeah.
There are apples, and oranges, and bananas.
I gotta.
And grapes.
We'll get through
and
it.
Pineapples.
Yes, Teddy. That's diversity.
It is?
Yeah, the group of fruits we have is a diverse group of fruits.
Oh, okay.
And just like fruit is diverse, people are diverse too. There are lots of different kinds of...
She's inadvertently comparing a minority group to a bunch of fruits. So, are we not just gonna ignore this?
They are.
There are lots of people with different races, with different pronouns, abilities.
With all different identities.
Yes, there are lots of different people with different identities. That's diversity. People are diverse.
Just like fruit.
Exactly. Let's talk
People
about how
are
you
fruit.
can see diversity.
Ooh, where?
Well, let's take a look at our fruit. This group of fruit is diverse, right?
Right, because there are different kinds.
Exactly. Can you think of another group of fruit that isn't diverse?
I've got so many right now.
What if it's just apples?
You've got it, Teddy. That's exactly right. If our group of fruit was only apples, then it wouldn't be diverse because there aren't different kinds of fruit if there are only apples. That's how you can see diversity.
Oh, I see. I see diversity.
You can do this with people too.
Yeah.
You can look at a group of people and tell
Teddy.
if there's diversity.
Okay.
In a diverse group of people, there are people of different races, big people and little people, young people and old people, girls and boys and trans and non-binary people.
And people with different abilities.
That's right, Teddy. Diversity with people is super important. Have you noticed that I try to be diverse on Queer Kid Stuff?
How?
When I bring in new friends to talk to us about new things. I try to bring in a bunch of diverse people to talk to us about different things. I try to talk to people who are...
Lord, Teddy, you have a lot of explaining to do. Why were you sitting on her lap, first of all? Did they just decide to film this one because of the fruit in the month basket showed up? I can't read the rest of that because I'm laughing too hard.
different from me.
Oh yeah, we talk to lots of different people.
We do. And it's really easy to practice seeing diversity. Next time you're reading a picture book,
You were very excited to be on her lap there.
take a look at the people and see if there is diversity or not. See if the pictures have lots of people who look the same or if they all look different from each other.
I can do that.
Do you think you can understand diversity now, Teddy?
I think so.
Diversity is a complicated idea that takes some practice
It's only
to see
business.
and understand. But you're doing a really good job, Teddy.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Great job, Teddy.
All right, that's all we've got for today. New episodes of Queer Kid Stuff are coming out every other Sunday this season. We just launched a brand new premium service where you can watch Queer Kid Stuff ad and troll-free on Vimeo, and you can access new videos a whole week early on there. Don't forget to subscribe to Queer Kid Stuff and to support our videos through monthly donations on Patreon, like these awesome people over here.
What do you mean? Diversity is like fruit. Except when the fruit are all the same, then they're not diverse, but they're still diverse.
You can also make a one-time donation through our PayPal. And
We'll see you next time
on
on Queer Kid
Kid Stuff.
10 out of 10, Teddy. I love how inclusive their comment section is. I've heard these are epically downvoted too. They don't even show the stuff anymore. They have 28,000 subscribers. That just still blows my mind. Yeah, so I think we ended on a positive note. If you want to go see more of Teddy's work, including Teddy, you need to make this your pick on Twitter. That would be epic. Was that during the pie one, Teddy? Is that during the pie episode that you happened to just go off on that side tangent? Did the ovens trigger that, or was it something else? There's a whole nother person, by the way, if you want to go into crazy. Oh god. I'm trying to think of the name. It's a God's Love 2010. I know I have this. Hold on. We're going to take this off. Bear with me. There's another person that's just as insane. And I've got the video, it's buried, so I didn't want to bother you guys with scrolling through a bunch of stuff. Where is it? It's down the bottom. Oh, there's some new Mama Mac stuff coming out here soon, too. God is cool. That's what it is. Can I watch this?
Hi, my name is Brian Connors. I'm a alumni, as they say, of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Daytona Beach, Florida. Never trust a psychiatrist.
I could see that, Jim, actually. Yes, fruit like grapefruit is disgusting, like those.
Or a psychologist.
Who are you trying to get?
Oh, this is so funny. We gotta watch this.
In Daytona Beach, Florida. Never trust a psychiatrist or a psychologist.
Who are you trying to get crazy with this? Don't you?
So this will be something that we'll cover eventually with when we get into our Mr. Medicare arc.
You know I'm loco.
You probably had a fear of the dark. Now, not necessarily the dark itself, but what lurked in it. I think most children do have this innate foreboding about the things that lurk in the dark. Something there. There's some nefariously ill outgrow. Get a living child, there because he's a conspiracy afoot. There's a group of people, a network of people, and they're made up of all sorts of individuals, from the stranger down the road to your neighbor, maybe your best friend or a family member. These people, they communicate with one another, and their primary goal is to fuck with you. They want to drive you crazy. They want to ruin your life. And they're going to do that in any way they can.
Teddy.
Maybe you're at the grocery store and you hear whispering and you look behind you. And
I'm going to take it off just because I got to see. Oh. Here, we'll put that on stream. Good job, Teddy. That's awesome. You gotta make sure I like it.
And there are 2 or 3 people, and they're talking to one another, and they're looking right at you. They're pointing. They're pointing right at you. Maybe you're driving on the highway, and suddenly you're flanked by cars. You can't speed up.
That was fucking funny.
Or slow down. You can't change lanes. They're all the same color. They're all going the same speed. Nothing's blocking them in. They're just shoehorning you in, so you can't get to where you need to go. You have to go with their traffic. Maybe when you're on the phone, suddenly you hear an awkward step. Maybe some... Now, this is a relatively new phenomena. It's really exploded.
So this is talking about gang stalking.
With the use of the internet. Not necessarily people thinking that they're victims of some kind of a conspiracy. That's been around forever. But the name and the parameters of what it is and the community built up around it, that's new. That's been, propagated and spread all over the internet. And all these people are getting sucked up into this idea that they're the victim of some vast conspiracy whose sole goal is to drive them
This was such an interesting watch, to watch somebody actually literally go insane. Like, it's kind of not funny, but funny. This guy legit went insane. Like, it's mind-blowing, the spiral this man went on.
Fucking crazy. And so this really fascinated me. I wanted to try to get into the mindset of somebody who believed in this, who thought that there was a conspiracy that existed to drive them crazy. And so I started looking. I wanted to find a good representative of the type of person that buys into this idea. And I looked around and I came across somebody, God is Cool 2010. Now I should tell you, I've actually had to come back and re-edit this video because of something that's happened. In the course of making it, originally I was going to upload it a few days ago, I tried to contact the person who owns that account. Now I'm not sure if it's because I reached out to them to try to get a better understanding of what they think, or if it's some unrelated thing, but they closed the account down. It could be for a number of reasons, and I'll actually talk about what I think it might be at the very end, but it presented some problems. One, I lost a lot of the videos I wanted to use. The reason that God is Cool 2010 is such an interesting case is it shows what happens when you present a crazy idea to somebody who's already unstable mentally. If you were to look at the videos, the first videos he put up when he opened that account, what you would see is a man who is obviously dealing with some kind of a mental instability. Now, he's a very soft-spoken gentleman. He slurs his words. He might have a speech impediment, but there's nothing striking about him. There's nothing that you would look at him and you'd say, oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll watch the spiral of this guy, and then I'll end the stream. We'll go back to normal, because I want you guys to hear him.
Yeah, that guy's got a mental defect. Oh, yeah, that guy's schizophrenic or depressed. He seems like a normal guy.
This is to help get my diversity and inclusivities on YouTube.
And in those original videos, he looked like a normal guy. But over the course of the years that he had this account, it just went downhill. And the point that it started to go downhill is when he got introduced to gang stalking. And so I'm looking at this account, I'm watching these videos, and I'm like, holy shit, this is the...
Can I just say, I could totally see Teddy doing gang stalking. Not that kind of bear.
Perfect example to use for this sort of situation. And so now you can see my problem. I've lost a lot of these videos. Luckily, I was able to get the good ones, the ones that really kind of help, show the narrative of his descent into madness, so to speak.
By the way, Teddy, you're slacking. Stream Elements taking over again.
And it's his first video, and now I've shortened a lot of these for time. A few things you should know going into this. I'm not very good with audio editing. His videos have a lot of white noise, a lot of background noise, clicks and bangs. I can't...
Teddy, I could just see you doing that for fun. Like, you would think that a fun activity is gang stalking.
Edit that out. And so, they're going to sound a little off. Also, I'm going to leave them at their original resolution.
I could see you being like, oh, it's Wednesday, I gotta go meet up for the gang stalking.
I'm not going to try to stretch it or distort it. And to top it off, he has a very awkward way of editing his videos. I've tried to cut a lot of that out, but you'll see what I mean when you come across it, because it's hard to miss. So, again,
that's fine.
A lot of these have been edited for time to try to keep this video under a fucking hour long, but we're going to take a look at his... This is the first video of his I saw, and it is the best example.
So true, Jim. Oh my god. Teddy, I could see you doing that shit though. Shit, I'm late for my game stalking appointment.
Example of if you've ever been around somebody, right, and they look totally normal and they act totally normal, and you're sitting down and you're having a nice conversation, and as you get deeper into that conversation, things start to go really, really strange. I mean, really bizarre, to the point where you think they're almost putting you on. Like they're fucking with you, just having a little bit of fun. And then you have that realization, holy shit, this person's crazy, like legitimate fucking crazy. This video is that encounter. This video is that situation. And you'll see what I mean. We're going to cue it up. Take a look.
I worked as a flight instructor at...
This guy is the guy I could totally see Teddy gang stalking, just being like... I could see Teddy going out of his way to find a bunch of people who are Nicolas Cage-esque. Just like this guy is Nicolas Cage-esque. Just keep that in mind while you watch this video. And Teddy finding a bunch of Nicolas Cage-esque people just to be in the gang to then gang stalk this guy. Yeah, that's Phil. Did it once ironically. I got myself a suit. Oh my god.
Embry Riddle for 2.5 years after I graduated. And as young eagles, people from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, as newborn eagles, fly high in the sky and with an eagle eye see all that they can see from that altitude, and nobody can touch them and nobody can stop them. There's nothing that can hide from the
That's freaking awesome, Jim.
The piercing eye of an eagle.
Alright, so a few things to start with. He has an interesting way of speaking. He kind of reminds me, especially his mannerisms when he talks, of Nicolas Cage doing a character. Even his smile and his laugh are very Nicolas Cage. You know, if he started screaming about the bees, that would fit in perfectly with how he's acting. Now, I looked into Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and it's actually a pretty prestigious private college where you go to learn to fly. They're located in a couple of states. I believe he went to the one in Florida based on what he's going to talk about in a little bit here. But so far, it seems okay. You know, he seems a little different, but you know, nothing too strange. But you'll see how quickly that's going to start to change over the course of this video. So let's continue.
When we're standing on the earth with our own two God-given feet and moving about with the education that we
Thank you, Teddy. I'm glad you noticed that too.
receive at the university, we have eagle eyes. We can see all that there is to see, and nobody can really do anything to stop us. Because we're
These are the sane videos, by the way.
worthy of that privilege.
Okay, so now we're starting to get a little creepy, but it's still so far nothing too bad. I mean, he seems enthusiastic about his education. He likes that he's a pilot. You know, that was his profession. I can understand that.
I went to St. Augustine, Florida, where my soulmate was, who I had met
He could be your inspiration, Teddy.
online, actually. Turned out she was my soulmate, though, and was in St. Augustine, Florida, so
There's another tie-in that is not involved with this video, and that's too funny, Jim. There's another tie-in with this video that this guy went to the president with a group of people to talk on gang stalking.
I went down there and I found out that as a newborn eagle, there's a lot to see for a newborn eagle. And she told me that she was sexually abused.
We have no idea. You're just hearing about sexually abused eagles at this point.
As a child. She told me when we were up north. Because she was too afraid to say anything about it to anybody down south.
By the way, Jim's breakdown of like listening to this person and hearing the words that they say. This is diversity, Teddy. Yes. Yes. That's the Secret Service. Oh, that's funny, Jim. Yeah, no, this pay attention to the words that this guy uses, and then Jim's story, and just I want to see if the mental image that I got comes to picture for you.
Where her abuser was, and apparently others who had threatened her. She told me about it, and I tried to deal with it using all of the applied knowledge that I had developed.
As an eagle.
As a newborn eagle from Embry-Riddle.
Now, I have to say, I'm not exactly sure how flying a plane is going to help you in a situation where a kid's getting fucked in the ass. But...
So, he's a pilot. I'm having such a hard time wrapping my brain around this. And people wonder why I got a fear of flying.
I'll give him an A for effort. At least, it bothered him. And he felt he needed to do something. He wanted to help this woman. I mean, that's a noble thing. Again, it's a little awkward to bring up aviation and your fight against child abuse, but, I can't fault him for it. So let's keep going.
And I even investigated the situation. I talked to him directly. I stayed clear of it, involvement with him, but I did interview him.
I didn't want to get involved, and so the best way of me doing that was to go and directly confront the person who was guilty of the molestation.
This woman was sexually abused, but I feel it's appropriate to look at her with my bug eyes and talk about how I'm an eagle.
Obviously.
She had become pregnant and
just magically
gone to the Alpha Omega Miracle Center in St. Augustine. And when it was Child Abuse Awareness Month, I picked up a t-shirt from a booth. I think it was actually from the Betty Griffin house.
This is where the story gets strange, and I know we've had a hard time. Like, there's so much context to this story, and there's literally no context to this story at the same time. All you know at this point is that he's attended a pretty prestigious private college, as well educated enough to know how to fly, probably a pilot, and talked about being an eagle, and then some woman that is suddenly pregnant that he met up north and going down south talking about sexual abuse, and he's like, you know what, I'm your eagle, baby. And he goes and talks to the abusers, and his talks apparently got nowhere, so
and wore it on the street corner. I decided to finally try and address this problem because it had gone too far.
So his solution is to get a t-shirt and stand on a corner. This is the next MCU. It really is. It really is. This would be a Nick Cage played in 13.
And you guys need to hear this. Young
Listen
Eagles.
to this.
And know that if you pray about this, God will do something and you'll see it happen. And then you'll know
Those are
what
the
it's
most
like to
intense
fly
eyes.
in the sun.
And here's where the crazy starts. Again, he seems like, when you're watching this, it's hard not to be compassionate towards the guy, right? I mean, he comes off as soft-spoken and very nice, and he's a very nice guy. But this is where you start to see kind of his mental state. And remember, his story started with him talking about, going to college, being in aviation, meeting a woman online that he cared for, going to meet her in a different area of the state.
By the way, Jim links this story together so well. Much, much, much better than this man articulates it.
And finding out she'd been through this trauma, and now he's trying to deal with it, and he's gonna deal with it all right. And it's from this point onward, again, with keeping that in mind of how this started, you'll see just the descent. It's just so quick. It's so quick. And in the course of the original video, I'll put links in the descriptions of all of these videos, but in the course of the original video, I'd say we're about a third to a halfway through.
She would be.
Again, I've edited for time, but about a third to a halfway through.
I love Jesus, and I wore the Alpha Omega or Betty Griffin House t-shirt, which said no excuse for abuse on it, on the corner of, on the pedestrian crossing island on the corner of US 1 and 312 in St. Augustine, Florida. And a policeman came up to me, stood next to me for a while, with a big smile on his face.
It's the eyes right now, I'm sorry.
After asking me what I was doing there, and I replied, protesting.
Protesting.
And he asked me if there's anybody else protesting with me. I said no. He said, what are they over there, across the street? I said, no. I told him there was nobody else. When he knew that, he stood there quietly with a big smile on his face for a while, and then, 20 seconds maybe. I don't know.
You're right,
15,
Teddy.
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
I don't know if any of you are familiar with the term crazed look in their eye, but that kind of applies to him right now. His eyes are darting all over the room. He can't really stay focused. He's starting to talk about how this policeman's interacting with them and being very specific about odd details, like how many seconds, specifically how many seconds this officer, was doing this. And this is really where you start to see kind of cracks in the facade of normality with God is Cool 2010.
They threatened to throw me off of the 312 bridge, and one of them said, "Welcome to the South," repeatedly. While they were, in order to scare me, I guess. I don't know what they were thinking.
But he's an eagle. He doesn't
Obviously,
scare
who knows
easy.
what people like that are thinking. But that's what they did to me, all because I was trying to address child abuse in St. Augustine.
God damn it, Lindsay.
Now, maybe this is just because I'm a northern boy, and I don't know how you guys do it down in the South, but generally when I'm interacting with the police, it's highly unusual for them to threaten to throw me off a bridge. That's not the average protocol for interacting with your everyday citizen. Hi, how are you doing? You're going a little fast back there. Could you step out of the car so I could huck you off I-95's bridge? And I also like how he's starting to use the term they. It's no longer a policeman, it's them. The ominous they, the nefarious they. This plays in, too, later on to his gang stalking fantasies. You can kind of see this narrative develop here. He's already talking about they, them. You'll see that language continued on as we...
Oh, man. Teddy conceded. Wow. I do love the shitposting duo.
They committed perjury and threatened to throw me off of a bridge. It scared the life out of me. They threatened to kill me. The guy, he did like some psychological thing to take me down from my height, and
yeah, see, this is diversity.
I guess that when he was repeating, he said,
Listen
"Welcome
to all
to
these
the
people."
South," and then he would pause and turn and talk to the other guys and turn back and like look at me and say, "Welcome to the South," and I didn't understand what he meant. And I guess he figured I didn't understand what he meant, so he turned around a third time after a while and said, "Oh, did I forget to tell you?" And then he paused and said, "Welcome to the South."
Well, I gotta say, you good old boys sure love to fuck with people in original ways. Welcome to the South. I'm sorry, what did you say? Welcome to the South. Now, there was two things that were
Welcome to the
interesting
South,
about that.
Lindsay.
I don't know if you caught it, but in the middle of that portion, that clip, he said they use psychological mind games, or psychological techniques, to talk me down from my height.
The guy, he did like some psychological thing to
Pay attention here.
to take me down from my height.
Now, he's already talking about a bridge, right? And he made it seem like they were going to throw him off the bridge. But if you caught it, he's saying they're talking him down. So you have to think of this through the goggles of reality, okay? And apply them to this situation. What's really going on? Well, here's a guy with this anti-molestation t-shirt up on a height on a bridge. Maybe he climbed up the railing. Maybe he's up on, some of the latest work. Who knows? And here come the cops to talk him down. Hey, don't jump. So I don't know what the welcome to the South thing is, but it's really weird. And you can start to see this has gotten fucking crazy. I mean, we've gone off on a tangent. This started out about him talking about his college, and we've moved from his college to a chick who was raped and molested to him, being stalked by policemen and random Southerners who keep saying, "Welcome to the South."
And don't think I didn't include diversity in my stream.
Then they arrested me, and then I knew something was up because I hadn't committed any crimes. And they put me in handcuffs and then turned my body and pointed my head directly at this bridge. They had wrongly handcuffed me, and they wanted me to know that they were gonna wrongly do something to me on that bridge.
So beware bridges in the
It
South.
was scary because my body would have been washed out by the ocean current that comes underneath that bridge.
And that's very uneagle-like.
On a stormy day like it was, there was a kind of a storm in the area, and the waves were high, and
So this guy's full Lieutenant Dan in a shirt, sitting on a bridge with a Stop Abuse shirt, and a cop saying, "Welcome to the South," over on his side.
my body would have been sucked right out in the water. Nobody would have ever found it. Nobody would have known what happened to me. I'd also seen the swamps in the area, and I was worried that they could dispose of me that way. if they chose to. It's very horrible. They're members of the police force. That's why this sexual abuse victim did not get any justice. She had told me previously, she said the police don't care, and when I tried to address the problem with the abuser himself, she got really scared. She showed me out in the dark down the street and said, do you know what they're going to do to you? And she
apparently thoroughly welcomed him to the cell.
Glanced over at a swampy area when she said that, and I didn't understand that at the time either, but later.
What are the odds that this sexual abuse victim is also, like, his level of insane? I don't know whether they are or they aren't. Like, I'm picturing that they are.
When they did what they did to me later on, then I understood what she was thinking.
Lindsay. We're just going to call the SA person Lindsay. Lindsay. I think Lindsay's insane. I think Lindsay would do all the stuff that you guys have talked about.
When she said, do you know what?
And that, by the way, was the edits I was talking about. He'll just randomly cut himself off. I'm not sure if he means to do it or if he's just not very good at editing, but it's always a religious picture on the internet. So he really has an issue, a mental issue.
Please help. Please pray. That will make things happen.
Thoughts and prayers.
Prayer works. Trust me. If you don't know that, you can trust me. A flight instructor from Embry-Riddle. I'm not going to lie to you. If you pray and believe...
Now he's upgraded to a flight instructor. I noticed Jim missed this.
Believe God will intervene and do something about all of these victims in St. Augustine. Pray and believe God will intervene and do something about all of these victims in St. Augustine and everywhere else who are being victimized not only by abusers, people in the community, but people on the police force.
Oh.
Threatened and living in fear. They need our presence. They need us to fly. Please, please help and pray. They're threatening people. Bye.
Teddy.
Be there and observe. They need us to be observed.
Teddy, you want a good idea for videos? This. Just this. And it's pick a topic.
Observers and to pray.
And so now you have a better idea of God is Cool 2010. Again, this was one of his earlier videos. I was lucky to be able to get it. There are a few mirrors out there too. So there's a potential that he had an account before the 2010 one and these were saved, or maybe he just
You're right, Jim.
To back up his stuff. I'm not 100% sure. But we have an image emerging basically from that heavy emphasis on hurt or he lows because he received a lot of things. He looks a little more haggard. And the things he's going to talk about are similar to what he talked about in that first video, but they become more extreme, more pronounced. Okay, now it's not just a random police officer or onlookers. Now it's a real they, right? He has a whole conspiracy ready, and it involves everybody in his neighborhood.
Hello, my name is Brian Connors. I live in Pittsburgh.
Oh my God, Teddy. Do it. Fucking do it. Medicare actually talked about that, and that's where I got that. And he actually went into that thought. Do it.
And I'm constantly being harassed by neighbors, people on the police force, and people who are using air raid sirens as well when I go to the second story of my house.
So already you can see that he looks different. His beard's unkempt, he looks a little bit frazzled, and he's really starting to...
I'm sorry. I'm an asshole for laughing at this, but oh my God, can you imagine like this guy just trying to sneak upstairs and the second he hits the top floor?
To kind of put together this story of harassment. I mean, it's not just the police, it's his neighbors. And they're going as far as blasting air raid sirens at him to try to drive him crazy, to harass
Phil's on the second floor, quick, start the siren.
Him for no good reason.
A person who lives right across the street from my backyard pointed a laser sight for a rifle at me while I was sitting in a lawn chair in the backyard, threatening my life, threatening to shoot me. because I don't know what reason he had for it. I was watching, the neighbors had some kids playing in their yard, and there was a little black girl over there.
The kids were a distraction the whole time.
And said something that had happened was child abuse because somebody was just going nuts and disciplining one of the children for no reason. And I saw that it was crazy, so I said, yeah, that's child abuse, because I didn't want her to be told that she was wrong and to believe that.
And so here you can see another reoccurring theme of child abuse, specifically...
This is her own personal fucking... Oh my god, her own personal spy plane going up over her head.
Child abuse. It seems to be something that is always at the heart of this harassment he's facing, and seems to be the impetus that set...
This guy was part of a group that went to the fucking Oval Office.
It's off, you know, this gang stalking mentality of the neighborhood and the police force and all these other people involved.
And so this guy, you know, pointed this laser sight at me from the middle of his living room window. The night before, the gunshots had been fired, so I knew that he meant, you know, I'm pointing a gun at you, and it was a powerful sight, like the kind that you would use for a laser, for a rifle, not a little toy.
Here again we see,
and
like, gang stalking.
Here's the full devolution.
Hello, my name is Brian, and I'm also a victim of organized harassment here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
This is him organizing and getting with the group.
They have locked me up in a psych ward, Western Psychiatric Institute of the University of Pittsburgh, I think it's called, or Western Psych for short. The way they did that was by basically, after they harassed me for a number of years, got me sensitized to certain sounds, then a couple guys threatened to shoot me. And I tried to report it to the police at that point because the guys threatened to shoot me, but the local police would not take a report on it. And they were trained not to. And then after he wouldn't take the report on it, another guy saw me standing out in my front yard, and so he went inside his house, came back out with a bright red shirt that he had just put on inside his house, and when he was in there, and he came right back out with this bright red shirt and goes like this to me, and then goes like that and starts going like that, and obvious, you know. So now, you know,
and so now he finds himself in this institute, you know, in this psychiatric ward, and that's not because he's crazy. No, this is just an extension now of this vast conspiracy of this gang stalking. You know, all the neighbors were in on it, all the police were in on it. You can see the frustration
oh my God.
He feels in this video. You can just see it. It's palpable. He's obviously really
Fuck Teddy, that'd be fucking hilarious. I agree, Jim.
Fucked up about this. He really believes this is happening. Well, now it's not just, you know, all these outside agencies. Now the shrinks are involved in it too. Now the people trying to give him help are involved in it.
Hello, I just watched your whole video. You are right. Do not, and I'm telling you so that you know it from somebody else, never trust a psychiatrist or a psychologist, because they're not doctors, first of all, but they let people think that they are. They do not have PhDs. They do not have the abbreviation doctor in front of their names, but they let people believe that they do.
And you literally have to be a doctor to be a psychiatrist.
And they basically are just kids that never learn to be honest. They are immature, liars. Don't ever talk to them. But if you need somebody to talk to, you know who you can. Well, you can talk to your friends on YouTube here.
And what great friends they are. They took a mentally unstable individual, fed him a conspiracy-laden bullshit soup, and then watched as his life deteriorated before them. Just take a look at this. You can see the progression of his decline. I mean, it's evident physically on him. Now, if his account hadn't been closed, There were so many more videos that pointed out, you know, his interaction with people in the gang stalking community. He had some where he was walking around his apartment talking about his food being tampered with because he saw a video of somebody explaining that they tamper with your food.
Yeah, so this guy's legit, like, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Anyway, I think that's where we're going to end it. This is a pretty good cliffhanger as far as, like, there's so much stuff out there that I have to share with you guys. I think you'll find a lot of it's funny and a lot of it's laughable. Some of it's meh. Again, thank you, Teddy, for this. You totally should, like, pursue the whole idea that you had there with Queer Kid. I think that'd be funny. Just be very, 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 very fluid in your discussions. And I wish you the best on that endeavor. Maybe you can get Jim to write some stuff for you. He's a medical professional, went to school for 12 years as a child. Trust me, an unshowered man who knows how to fly a plane. By his own default, though, he doesn't have doctor in his name. Trust Dr. YouTube. Trust WebMD. Anyway, I'm probably going to cut this down. I'll put the video up. I'll chop the VOD up because we got a lot of, like, 2 hours worth of unnecessary content in here. So that way, if anybody's really looking at the NateDawG stuff, they can go and view that. But other than that, I think I'm going to call it a night. I'm exhausted. I've been running on, like, yeah, we're getting to the 20-hour mark. I'm a doctor of the skies. You know what? If he did that, it would probably be less crazy than what he actually is. But you guys have a great night. I appreciate you coming out like always. Shout out to Teddy, Jim, Gay Illuminati, all of you for being in chat. I appreciate it. It does help pass the time quite a bit. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. Like I said, I'll probably cut this video up tomorrow and put out a VOD for just the whole NateDawG stuff if you want to rewatch it. And then I'll leave this up if anybody really wants to look at all the stupid stuff that we go through, and including, you know, Teddy's illustrious Queer Kid's career. But until next time, you all have a fantastic night. Enjoy the holiday if you celebrate Christmas. Otherwise, Festivus, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, something else. Maybe Rosh Hashanah, Ramadan. I don't know. One of them. Enjoy everything. And I will be back here next Friday, and we'll go over something new. I don't quite know yet what it'll be, but we'll be sure to enjoy it. You guys have a happy holiday, and have a good night.